शर्म आ रहा है लेट बोलने में? हाँ, शर्म आ रहा है? नहीं नहीं, शर्म आ रहा है? थोड़ा सा शर्म आ रहा है लेट बोलने में? बहुत सही के लोग आसपास वर्सेस ऑक्सी।
Just really lacking creativity. It's a very powerful kit, as we've seen, but you still
Good
have
ball
to
day.
innovate, and they couldn't against the Neon and the Omen, which were getting past all that util.
I also wasn't really seeing enough like chemistry and engagement between Aspas and Nazwar. Like I feel like the whole story has been, oh, what's gonna happen when these two like come back together? And I feel like for Nazwar, he kind of has to prove to everybody that the roster decision that Leviathan made last year was a mistake.
Yeah.
And he's got to start now, because if not, then it just looks like, okay,
क्या मास था
maybe
बे?
all along Leviathan knew what they were doing.
That's a crazy thing too. Is
but
they
right?
went behind, like the star player.
This is
Aspas
prediction
wanted
देना
to
बंद
play
किया,
with
Fnatic
Mumbai,
comeback
and
मारा, शर्म
he
करो।
removed from that team for Calm. And then here they are rejoining now on MIBR, the old school coach of Aspas, coming in from Loud.
You gotta deliver.
It's all here.
You
for
do,
Aspas.
but also we have to give MIBR a lot of credit. They're the only Brazilian team that are taking chances on those tier 2 players. They're here to develop. They believe in this roster. And we have one of those rookies standing by right now with Dryads. Let's hear from Cortesia.
I'm here with Cortesia ahead of match 2. And Cortesia, what I want to ask you here is
Ankia
there
again.
were a lot of eyes on you in the offseason because of your individual performance. You were doing amazing. So how are you dealing with that pressure now that you played on the stage for the first time?
Então, a pressão no stage é bem diferente, né? Querendo ou não, no off-season foi em casa, então era mais confortável. Aqui, dentro do stage, acredito que é questão de tempo para eu me adaptar e não me sinto nervoso de jogar na frente da plateia nem na frente dos outros jogadores, não.
बराबर बोला।
Well, the pressure at the stage is
ऐसे करना पड़ा
During
उसको,
the off-season,
Mike।
I was playing at home, and so the pressure is definitely different. But I'm not really scared of playing in front of other players and audience.
And speaking a little bit about that pressure, so do you feel any pressure playing with Aspas and Noswar, names that are so well known internationally, or are you playing like it's anything?
उस भाई इधर जोर से चिल्लाया, मकान मालिक को लगा दूध वाला आ गया।
Com eles resiste sim.
Aliás,
Aliás,
मैच में ना?
os melhores do mundo, né? Mas eu gosto de ver de uma forma grata de estar tendo essa oportunidade, de ter um time competitivo.
पहले ही कमेंट रूसी
de
पीसी
uma
करके आया है
forma
मेरे को।
que eu me sinto pressionado por isso.
Yeah, they're like the best in the world, but I am thankful for the opportunity to play with those two, Aspas and ONRZ. So I don't feel the pressure of playing with them. I'm actually very thankful for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck today.
मेरा चाय का कप किधर है
There's
भाई?
so much you can take
इसके बाद
away
एक
as
चाय
a
लेके आया,
rookie
ठीक है?
when you're being led by legends of the sport right there. So that's great to hear. Now, of course, we talked about, right, what effect this can have, like such a rough debut performance. How do you keep the morale up? What do you think as a leader? What do you need to do for your team to continue?
I think that has to come unironically from Aspas. Not even fraud. I actually think it has to come from Aspas because he's had so much success in this game that these young players respect him and they respect every word that he says. You know, I truly think that today will be a different story for MIBR in that their players will be in better form. But even in the off-season when I was watching them, and I'm not sure if you felt this way, Baby Babe, but Shinam and Cortesia, they're
100 tips का क्यों दिखा रहे highlight बेशर्मो?
But oftentimes they were a little bit behind on using the supportive util that Aspas typically has.
Yeah, 100%. Cortesia specifically, I was very impressed with what I saw in his lurk timings, how he took a lot of those engagements and would sometimes get not only one, but two.
I think hardly 5 minutes.
And I think we kind of saw some brilliance of that on Vine, specifically against Thunder Thieves. But that first map, when he was on the Killjoy, I feel like it wasn't even his fault. They were playing Retake Simulator like 10 rounds in a row, man. Like,
they had no solution.
The only round that he had a first engagement in like the first 15
आसपास
seconds,
गोट है, ऑक्सी का वाइब अच्छा लगता
it's
है।
like, dude, he could.
That was at C, right?
Yeah. He
Lineup
couldn't really
देख
get
लो।
anything going. So now this is a good chance. You can't do much worse than what you did against Hunter Thieves, right? So the pressure really is off.
It's a really positive way of looking at it.
I don't think a lot of people expect them to win. You know, even with Aspas being on because of how bad they performed against Hunter Thieves. So when you're able to play a little bit looser in that aspect, all of a sudden those nerves aren't there anymore. and you can
I think
really do
MAB,
some
yeah.
damage.
That might have helped Cloud9 in their first match, quite frankly, because they were not the favorite heading into this. Like, people had a lot of opinions, obviously, during the off-season on who they're picking up and letting go and picking up again and letting go, you know the story. But they surprised. I think they're overperformed. They exceeded many expectations in chaotic games they played against Energy, and then, of course, they got rolled by G2, but we're not talking about that.
ये भी elimination match है, yes
G2
sir.
that's another level. They were on another level. That's not fair.
Yeah, we can't talk about that, but what we can talk about, though, is how this guy on the screen, Zeppa, has just looked lights out so far. Carrying in that off-season form, you know, the community is very harsh on Zeppa because he's the longest-standing member of this
Putting
Cloud9
$100
team,
on
who's failed to really get a lot of
$50
international
extra डाल के
success.
membership लो.
But I don't think he deserves
on
any of the
C9.
criticism. I think he's played a lot of roles over these years and had a lot of inexperienced teammates that he's lifted up consistently. And here it is again, he's playing new roles. We see him on the Globe, we see him on the Teo, and he's putting up numbers again.
Yeah, and Zoe, when we were at the Seattle LAN event in the off season, I got to talk to him a little bit, like when we did that behind the scenes thing after the event was over. I'm like, what have you been eating? What are you doing?
What's the routine?
Yes, MVP Aspas.
You know,
I need that hair routine, man.
Oh, I need that. Yeah, we all need the hair routine for sure. But he just told me he's back to his comfortability, back on the
love you,
peripheral that
yeah.
he really enjoyed using in the past when he went.
अभी जो करना
It's
कर
a
सकता है.
peripheral gap.
Yeah, a peripheral dip, yeah.
You know what? Whatever.
You're back on his old settings, whatever it may be. Comfortability is key
50
in
gifted
gaming.
बन जाता तो.
I feel like with all the new tech coming out, it can be so like it can be.
बड़ा पाव
pushy, you
मिलता
don't wanna
तुम्हें
use
सुबह
new
सुबह.
things, but sometimes all you gotta do is fall back on old.
गीली
vibes.
चुम्मी मिलती.
Yeah, and it's the easiest way to be consistent as an individual in a game where so many things are changing, in a team where so many things are changing. I mean, 2 years ago we saw
Yes, आने का कोई सीन है?
Yay on this team 2
फिलहाल
years
तो
ago,
नहीं
and he
है.
was dropped before the second game of the season. You know, like so everything's changing.
जो आ रहा
around
होगा,
this
जो आ
guy.
रहा
The
होगा.
one thing he can keep consistent is his gear at very
Yeah,
least.
please, man. Gear in the
Hello,
streams,
Ange.
but keep on keeping on, man.
कौन-कौन बहुत सही के लोग अभी अभी उठे.
A game of a lifetime really in that first showing, which is fantastic. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think we can officially take him off of fraud watch for now. Depending on
for
how
now.
today
4 months okay, Binks bhai.
But
Love you,
we also have
Lavesh.
Riot standing by with him, so let's hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, I'm here with Zeppa from Cloud9, and Zeppa,
Yep,
I want to ask you, you've been doing
Zidane का
insane
jersey
casual
अच्छा है.
matches individually. In the off-season, what was your prep like to make sure that you're playing these agents to such a high level?
Play the game 14 hours a day, and with a little bit of TFT, and that's all I do.
And I mean, it's working out.
Delta
At least
kilo,
for
bhai.
you individually, you look amazing. But I want to ask you, now you're the longest-standing member of Cloud9. What is it like for you to adapt to these roster changes that have happened, and how do you feel about the team right now?
The coaches and obviously.
ये रात से भाई कहीं गए नहीं है ना matches तो है
everything.
बेदेश.
So I mean, I just show up. They tell me what to do, and I just play the game. So shout out to them.
And my last question for you, now you're playing with Mitch again. We already talked about it a little bit, but I want to know, playing back,
Mike, थोड़ा कम
playing
करो,
with Mitch
back.
once again since 2021, what is his biggest quality as an IGL for Cloud9?
I think he's very composed. He's very relaxed, and just like the rest of us, I think it's very easy
Door
to
bracket
talk
में.
to him. And
Aspasapsappassss
very easy to like,
Demon One.
criticize each other, and like no one's taking
Demon
everything
One
apart.
किधर है यार
But I
अभी?
think the biggest thing as him is just very composed and relaxed.
All right, I can't wait to see you guys. Good luck.
Mitch does have very chill vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
100%.
see.
Demon
that
One
does
किसी
a
को
lot for
Demon
a
gone
team
हो
as
गया
well,
भाई.
especially have the likes of Oxy who are more explosive in personality and in playstyle.
Left में?
Speaking of which,
मैंने match देखा नहीं अभी तक
while
live.
Zeppa had the game of a lifetime,
माफ
Oxy
करो. Left
was
जीता?
rather quiet in his opening match. What are we taking away from this? Are we worried yet?
He's had a rough
जीता, left
game,
जीता?
Sean. I mean, he is sitting at 10 first kills,
Mostly
20 first
Aspas
deaths.
ही.
I like that he's still going at it though. The perseverance that this kid has. I
Vinay
mean, he's
ji,
gonna
I
need
saw
to
your
keep doing
stream
that.
live.
And
Thanks for
eventually
today.
it's gonna
Mukul
go
bhai,
mid lane.
अभी
We've seen it already.
रोज जब
You're not
NA का
worried,
मैच
right?
रहेगा.
I'm not worried.
I'm not
ये
worried.
टाइम पे
I'm
मैं
not
live ही
worried.
रहूँगा.
Okay, we're on the same page. This is NRG and G2.
This is
Yeah,
the
like,
prime
he's
time
not
for
playing
foreigners.
Even average teams for our region. He's playing the very top teams in our region, and he's expected to struggle a little bit
cute
on
है
this
ना
kind
यार.
of newly formed team. I think also the new IGL we heard Zeppa mention it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more calm vibes. You know, Oxy is the life bringer into this team.
Let's
They
जीता
live
लेकिन
and die
Demon
by
अच्छा
this
नहीं
kid.
खेला.
He is incredible. But once he figures out this system for Mitch and they get situated, this is hilarious actually.
That's the only thing that kind of like worries me a little bit. Is like
the sad
I hope he's just memeing. And it might just be for the lulls, you know.
Dude, you know how important confidence is.
Yeah, especially on the duelist role. And the thing is when he gets going, it's like a mini.
Yeah, every cell in his body thinks he's getting the kill.
He takes over the entire server.
But this is not necessarily a bad thing if you're a Cloud9 fan right here. Because
that's
I mean that's concerning, but I think he's doing okay. No, but like the fact that the strat for Cloud9 was Oxy go kill, right?
Yeah.
To know that you have another player who can pick up the reins, who can pick up the slack, and like make you look good, that is super important.
Yes, and we haven't even talked about, but Vic is another one they've added in that same role where I think that takes a big weight off of Oxy's shoulders. Because Vic is one of those he's an aimer on controller. He can close out rounds, and he doesn't make the play, right? He's not going to be the guy that loses you the early round, which is something that someone like Oxy needs because he's down to lose the early round. He usually wins the early round.
He will live and die by the sword. I do have to say, Mitch's IGLing on this team, it's looked very good so far, even though he's gone up against very tough opponents. I think test, and I think now that Mitch sees, okay, this is the level that I have to get at. C9
and I actually like what Zeppa said about Mitch's IGLing, the calm aspect of it, because he got the wins over the offseason, and Rossi was ruled like a dictator over there. I'm not gonna lie. He was owning. He was like next level owning and really microing the entire team around him. But what Zepp is saying is that's not the vibe we're looking for. And what they have is something that they're comfortable with now.
Right. Well, if we're looking at the other side there, Oxy, we said, had a slow start. Aspas also a slow start, but he managed to pick up the slack a little bit.
Yeah, it's still not anything to write home about. Like his performance, he was the only one that I think went positive, or maybe barely negative, I believe, in this. You know what you're going to get out of Aspas, but here's the main thing that he needs to do, and this is what you brought up earlier, Sean, is can he step up to the plate and be an actual leader for a team? Because he hasn't really had to do that. He had King on Leviathan, and then he had to fall back on as well on Loud. So now is his opportunity to become an actual leader and kind of show these younger kids on his team, yo, this is how to do things.
And there were moments in the past where he did play a big part in the macro strategy. We heard it last year for Leviathan.
Maybe a technical.
Right on, now it is time for our second elimination match of the day. So let's get ready for all the action and send it over to the stage.
Right, Intermission, it's time to get the second elimination match started. Let's hear it for your first team. It's Cloud9!
Cameraman thoda casual hai.
Exceeded expectations in their opening match against Energy, but the momentum was quickly stopped in its tracks by G2 shortly after, not without a lot of positive takeaways though. Standout individual performances and a showcase of a lot of initiative.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup again for this MIBR team. Cloud9 has a lot of similarities in the explosiveness as 100 Thieves in my eyes. They kind of see eye to eye how to approach the game these days. And so the question is what game does Cloud9 bring? Do they have the confidence like they had against NRG, or is it, you know, a little bit lackluster like versus G? We don't know which Cloud9 exists this year.
Não tem mais espaço para erro, mas fiquem tranquilos que eles têm o GOAT. Façam muito barulho pro Mibr!
The expectations for the teams were high.
Brazilian songs
Highly decorated star Aspas alongside Nazwar finally together, leading some really exciting rookies. The pieces are all there.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to see specifically Cortesia and Artesian step it up.
So guys, love you.
They both were really at the bottom of the scoreboard, and I know that stats don't tell the entire story. They don't paint the entire picture of how the map went. But these two players, they need to just get it together, have a great match.
The stream is so calming. Thank you.
Confidence if they want to make a deeper run into this tournament and keep their lives on the table.
And something we didn't really get to see a lot of last week out of MIBR because they were always trailing is set plays that help these players really settle into the game. So if they get the pistol round, you know, they can go into a set bonus, into an ult play, and really get their feet under them at that moment. And that's when someone like Aspas can really just dominate the game.
Yeah, he can end the rounds for you, close it out. win some clutches even. And yeah, you're right. The utility even in that last series that they played, it was a little bit off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because they were rattled.
सबसे funny चीज़ ये कि अमेरिका का match पहले
खत्म हुआ ये में, especially since we're going to be on Lotus. It looks like.
Fnatic वाला थोड़ा लंबा चला.
Bans make sense. MIBR are buying a Fracture, which I like because Cloud9 looked good on Fracture. They had some really interesting ideas there, but
oh yeah,
Lotus and Abyss.
Yeah, this is really
And
interesting.
Mibr.
Cloud9 played both these maps just against G2 like the other day, so a good opportunity right now for Fraud to come up with game plans against the way that Cloud9 like to approach this map.
I'm worried though. On this America's stage, I've seen so many teams on the defensive side of Lotus go down. They spiral so hard. It happened to MIBR in their opening game. They picked Lotus in that game, and they started on defense. Here, they didn't even pick it. They opted to start on defense.
Perhaps they had incredible ideas, but they never got to show us because they got
Breach
run. And here is the agent select. What are we thinking, guys?
Not a surprise. I don't think that anyone wants to make a crazy change early on, and it could really. Oh, as I say that, I literally bite my words because this is a completely new composition. But you know what, Sean? I think this makes sense because the utility timings that they were running with the Tejo, it didn't look like it was on. It wasn't stopping any of 100 Thieves' defaults. This is what they need.
Okay.
That's right. Our teams are ready for the first pistol round. Let's send it over to your casters making their 2025 debut. Please give it up for Sully and Riv.
Thank you so much, Zoe in the desk. Yes, we are ready to get into game 2 here. It is going to be a good one. Cloud9 taking on MIBR. Cloud9 having a bit of games under their belt, still feeling that loss from G2, but we're waiting to see what MIBR can bring to the table.
Yeah, no matter what, this has been a wake-up call for both MIBR and C9. More for MIBR's side because he did have the debut of Shenom and Artesia, and they were getting farmed on this very map. We talked about the jitters that Artesia was mentioned before in the interview with Dan Dryad. But also, you're looking at this one here for C9. They're playing against a G2, realizing, oh crap, it is a meta that uses a lot of utility. Thankfully, though, going into this game, you do have MIBR going with the compositional change, but it's not out of the ordinary. It could be something that's very practiced here for Cloud9. So this matchup is very good for the elimination game.
I can't wait. I mean, MIBR looks like they got a comp that needs to be active as well. Might just see that on the retake here as we see C9 focusing that C to start.
This is a change. Cortezia starting things off, still angry on the side. He has the big Razor Flash to slow things off and also scores first blood.
They don't seem too worried about it. MIBR feeling good as Arson comes up 2 quick kills. Now 3 members of C9 mill about in the back of sight, just seeing if they can get the positioning to get this spike down for a slight positional advantage.
And MIBR playing in numbers, but the thing is, they allowed C9 to actually place the wall to block off Waterfall, and that's super strong on pistol. Everybody could now focus towards the spawn.
Quick Oxy push forward, trying to scale a little bit with Vic on the help there. There's 2 quick ones coming in from Cloud9. It looks like they'll be able to clear the rest of MIBR, and that's 1 round for C9.
And that's the thing, when you looked at MIBR last week, when they played, they tried to come out with a Breach and a Teo. It almost looked like it was a plug-and-play as to MIBR just trying to catch up to the meta. You're thinking here on paper, now they're going potentially to their comfort pick, what they practiced on during the offseason. But looking at how they tried to play the retake on that round, getting blocked off this deadlock wall, they were still uncoordinated to really try to flood back as a team. Yes, they tried to go for the 3-2-1s here, but all individual tight angles held by Cloud9. That was so clean at the start. And this is a great start for C9 fans and for C9 themselves.
So smart, being able to attack the high-low like that. C9 continues to push aggression on those early rounds and scale into
no matter how you see it.
Little rinse and repeat. It looks like we're going to do some orb maxing.
वो लोग जो चाहिए कर सकते हैं मैप में, जो चाहिए वो.
That drone's going to clear.
He's already got 3 kills going on. They want to bring up this showstopper as soon as possible, have him entry. And we talked about these stylistical matches that will work out for Oxy. He could satchel in, he could fight against opponents. He's not going to get overwhelmed by utility like he did against G2. This is right into the comfort zone to potentially what C9 could bring in this whole series.
And C9 did these buys yesterday. You see a few kills going on to a couple certain people. They buy the Phantoms, you get the Stinger onto Oxy, and then they'll let Oxy go forward with these Phantoms over the shoulder.
I think वो लोग ने देखा alt आ रहा है
करके.
बाइक से मरेंगे
look for some exit kills.
You'll see too, as Artesine was the one anchoring up in the first place towards the seaside on an eco. This again, the combination you have of Viper now playing double control now with Cortezia, they actually do have great opportunities to stall now. And it almost looks like C9 really wants to take advantage of the hit C, hit C, hit C, just like how 100 Thieves did that against MIBR, knowing that C was easy to take.
That's so cool. Oxy gave a stinger to Vic to run forward with the ghost, collect more orbs, so they save that stinger and they get out. Every little thing being thought about and put into place here by C9.
Excuse me?
As MIBR is looking to get themselves into that spike zone.
Definitely super standard stuff there to send your duelist in.
Yeah.
And as they preface at the desk, you know, we were like on quote-unquote fraud watch for Zeppa. He really lit up the scoreboard in the last 2 games. And Oxy from his tweet was saying, hey, I was struggling a little bit, and indeed he was. He was like 1-7 in his last matchup against G2. So this gives him a chance now to say, okay, well, people are actually trying to shut down Zeppa this time around, who hasn't had too much value yet in terms of firing power, but Oxy, if he's going to start waking up, that's 2 players now that MRBR has to take care of.
It's so true. I still remember the quote from Doug, too, when they were in a timeout. He's like, Zeppa had 19 kills in the first half of the first map, and then it was like 8 rounds in the second map first half, and he had 16.
Much better.
So you're right. They're going to be gunning for him, and it might free up Oxy a little bit to get that momentum going.
And Baby Bear was also mentioning on that to chime in along that was Zeppa had 2 ults already in like 7 rounds or 4 rounds or something like that. So he was definitely on fire at that point. But unfortunately here we have a little bit of a tech pause.
Okay.
We have a little bit of audio issues that we're going to try to fix over at this point. But again, this is an MIBR that comes back into this game, backs against the wall, but also a debut stage for a lot of these players. And when Cortezio was mentioning, yeah, this is a little bit tough for me in the first game, it's different when you're playing from home versus on the stage. But to have, you know, Noswer, to have Aspas, to also have Fraud, who's been a Counter-Strike champion back in the 1.6 days for so many years, there's a lot of veterancy that could really help the newcomers to really step up to the game.
Absolutely.
And I think that MIBR can get an upset win or a deep run here in this kickoff, it's kind of unfair to add that much pressure in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And you're expecting with this exactly. And you're expecting in this with this roster, it's going to switch around in like mid split 1, split 2 potentially, and then we'll see that the vision that MIBR was building with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, we hear Baby saying he was playing the retake simulator the whole time, right? So it's kind of like he wasn't able to get into the fights. Did we really even see a lot of play from him? So also, to that point, the team needs to stay alive on the other side. They need to adjust and push and pull a little bit.
I think
Cortezia is going to get that push off. They're going to get that flank. There's some time there.
And you bring up a great point, actually, staying alive. That's something that was a struggle, again, against 100 Thieves when they played on Lotus. Their map pick on top of that they lost. But the thing is they played a composition that Sean was mentioning, and I do agree with them. They tried to plug and play with Breach and Teo.
Right.
Asuna Neon was just running by through everything.
Yeah, you don't have that timing yet.
And now you have this change as Artesian playing this Viper. You do have more stall with a great wall that's unbreakable, so you have an opportunity to really break the waves of hits that are coming through the execution for Cloud9. Let's say they're going to try to work towards Rubble. That wall is going to block vision of how they could fight and take control of Rubble to the A site. So it gives you an opportunity here for MIBR to really slow down the pace and start hopefully playing their own game and take the driver's seat, in this map.
Well, could it be on the bonus round? Will it be? They're still actually kind of put down to the light armor here, as we see they've reaching into the pocket still for all the credits they can use.
Important thing here, we talked about just Oxy going to farm some kills, and with his death already has a showstopper in the bonus round, which is actually so strong for Cloud9. 4 rifles on top of that, leaning towards, again, the C side. The condition continues to be very good for Cloud9.
And Rubble's already controlled by Shenum, so they should know this is happening. Oxy's going to take that space and just flex some muscles. We're here quick with a stinger. Arsene goes down, and not much smoke control will be left here for the control over C site. That wall goes down, and so does Cortezia. Okay, quick trades. Noswer back into the site. Didn't expect this just as fast. They're working kind of 1 by 1 right now, and it works for a few kills, leaving a 2v2.
And Aspas is still alive here. Both of them working. The wall bang from Vic. You talk about the consistency of how he's not going to make big plays, but could still anchor it up for Cloud9, and they already have a clear advantage.
Anytime better than the aim.
Aspas. Gonna have to use the mechanics real tough on this one. Swing up to the left, almost like the 8-10 split, or 7-10 split, I should say.
Go 1v1, eh?
There's one. Almost got the other. Vic's ready on the top side. Nice split by C9 to make that work and pick up the bonus. Good damage, though.
You get in those moments where you always think about your veterans that could turn around over. So yes, Noswer was able to think about that. He was able to take behind the side. But look at this pathing that they have on that right side. The fallout comes to the left, so nobody could swing towards that front. And focus on that pillar so that those anchored players, every time they're trying to play retake so far, they were stopped by next utility. So the idea for MIBR there, let's try to stay inside the site. We have the crossfire set up, and then now it's just too much util from Cloud9 that really breaks it apart. And unfortunately also breaks the utility for MIBR in round number 4.
What a round for Oxy to have an outlaw. He's looking at a bunch of money in front of him now.
नहीं लड़ सकते ना यार
and just try to sort out MIBR.
और बहुत गंदा कॉम्प है
Yeah,
यार
and it's a quick round for MIBR. Quick decision too to go for a stinger by around Sheriff. So hoping for some long range pop shots and play with the stack that they have with the 3 players on this A site. It worked out well. They had a correct read in the very beginning, but this is where it gets very difficult too for MIBR in the mid round, where they're playing a lot more passively. The composition last time and maybe even this time doesn't allow for them to get too proactive in terms of fighting for space, but at least they could find information here with this fade.
Aspas already rotating, trying to find some frags here.
Bye.
He gets
The
1 or
blue.
2 kills here. He's up with the
तीन
ultimate.
बंदे
He can
सी
really
है
start to sort that into the next round and get some momentum going. Right now, C9 goes back to this C. Been loving it. Here the orb. Quick salvo goes out, and they're just trying to see who's going to be running inside. Finally, MIBR has enough to delay, but C9 looks like they're ready to hit again.
So it's an orb with a snake bite. Then if they go again, it's a wall with a stall here from the Razorvine. So it's very good here for the stall of MIBR. But here's that pivot towards B.
Pushing right through. Quick smoke out. Does deny anything from Waterfall here, and C9's going to have a second to breathe.
Fortunately, though, for MIBR, not too much utility for the retake play.
Exactly.
Best thing they got is the paranoia, so they need to leverage Shenom here towards Monk so that he can actually flash back, and it's going to be a beautiful line if they're able to find the correct timing coming out of heaven.
1 smoke out. Quick paranoia back.
Hits 2.
Beautiful job by Aspas. They're going to throw 3 in from heaven here and just try to waterfall into the site, but Mitch and Net aren't going to let it happen. C9 have their eyes on the prize, and that's going to be a quick 4th round.
And a selfless play for Oxy, playing out in the open so that he could actually stall as much as he could. 2 of his teammates were hit by that paranoia thrown by Shenom, but as soon as that happens, and you had to stall in, Oxy was able to just hold them back. You saw the swing coming out from Mitch. It's just really good in terms of coordination. Something that I actually want to praise Cloud9 for too, and a change that they've done from last year to this year. They're a little bit more coordinated in terms of how they want to set up for these trades. A lot less 1v1s and hero plays that they're trying to do. So I'm loving the look that we had from C9. Something that was doubted by the community when this team came together going into kickoff because of all these last-minute changes.
We were watching their Fracture match as well. We could see in times when they had lower or big buys, like Zeppa would have a Phantom and Oxy would have that Stinger. Zeppa keeps Oxy with him. He's like, no, we're going to have this leash on you for now. So they're kind of giving Oxy room, but also making sure he's doing what the team wants him to do.
Yeah, it feels like there was a little bit of a miscomm cut out from MIBR because they tried to go potentially for this paranoia showstopper right in front of B. But you look on the side of C9, they barely use any utility to get out.
Yeah,
so
surprise milega.
They keep doing this. They make MIBR throw a bunch of utility out, and then they freely hit a site. Oxy has to be careful. He's used to this position, being alone across from the team. And nobody's even peeking. MIBR's given so much space. Artson's able to trade. The rest of the cavalry comes through now as C9's going to set up in sight with a nice wall on A-Link. Quick trades by MIBR. Trying to scatter in sight now as Vic is firing for the last shot. A bit scattered there as it's a back and forth right now, but it's going to be Aspas up top, and he does take down Vic for MIBR's first round.
And that's a nice change from MIBR going in that round. Having that double push and being able to set up this Omen and Raze together with the showstopper so they could stall towards the C site and fight back towards the C site. But if nothing happens, you have the back pocket, literally a showstopper for the retake. But if not, change that util. I love the wall that was being placed towards tree. It's not necessarily just for information gathering.
I think वो wall bait कर रहा था लेकिन थोड़ा left
right actually go for a trap play into Oxy if they wanted to, but if not, stall even the ult that Net had with the attempt of C9 moving into the site. So very, very nicely done here to stall the push from MIBR, and that's the start that you want. Finally, the first round that they have in is a clean one.
They're taking mountain control. They were taking rubble control from MIBR side before to get a read on C, so they should have a read on A now to get back over here and try to shut down C9. Aspas could use that showstopper as well as Steel Guard and that ult from Cortezia.
Yeah, and he's playing way back towards the A site. The flash that he placed on that previous round was already identified by Cloud9, so they can leverage that and sell a little bit of this fake and break that util to finish towards the B site. But we're all still playing the information game for C9.
Right through Baby Door. Yes. Ooh, did they just actually get that on Aspas?
Yeah.
May find nothing for it. Paint Shell's forced back, and this is going to fizzle out before he even finds a kill. C9 is reading things so well with this.
And that was off Zeppa going in here with the scout drone so that it pulls it out so that he's like, oh, I have a green light. I could move in with the rocket. I'm not going to get stalled. But then he gets funneled into paint shells and pulls him back. And now C9 can re-hit into B against less utility. But the position in the front B side from Shenum could be huge.
They rush on the flush. Beautiful job off Zeppa's utility, but they don't know about Shenum. A quick hit and Shenum plays his life. Super smart. What's this alert from Net going to do, though? Obviously seeing Juan Cortezia just on the other side. A bit of cat and mouse here as the spike is planted and MIBR has to move.
Net staying far behind, so the isolated him.
Quick hits there. Cortezia comes up with a big one, but they're going to be pushing forward off of that. Mitch answers. Artscene brings it down to a 2v2, and Mitch is low, limping around that heaven area, trying to get the Arsenal back up and online. Just past half fans. Looks like they're going to be able to get at Shenum. Coming up big as the defuse happens inside by Artscene. A bit scattered, MIBR adjusts to the flush very well.
It was going to be a C9 round. After seeing Mitch push towards that spawn with the right click classic.
Showstopper?
It looked really good for C9 controlling that round until the pulse we talked about that important position that Shenum had in front of B. Really delayed things around. I mean, look at that on the retake. He's still playing in the front. So for C9 saying, okay, well, we're not going to try to push him back. We'll play inside the site. They got sandwiched, cornered, nothing they could do. Even the grab net thrown by Net is not going to do anything there because there's no aftershock to help out to really take the diffuser off the spike. So MIBR swinging 2 rounds together, and now we're pressure from Cloud9 right into early by Artesian.
Oh, Rolling Thunder goes straight through, and the whole team is here. Rubble control already by MABR, so they're going to have to close in on this. A quick peek. Artson finds it with a shorty. Net's actually just 1 tick away from dying. Anything hits him and he falls. What a stall again by MIBR. They figured something out here, even if it's an ult to be used at the beginning of the round.
But that's the spike too. Mitch moved in together, thinking that he had his teammates behind with him. But the thing is, trying to pressure into that pit, they got stopped by the wall set up by Cortezia. So the study that came 9 for C9 to be able to abuse towards the C site has now been funneled by Cortezia's agent change. Really flows their plan, so they have to rework now in the mid-round. Really try to pinch back in. They still have a lot of time to work with, so they could still do some damage.
What an awkward spot for the spike to be. They're going to get as deep as they can on one side while trying to watch the flank, and this is going to be Vic and Oxy on that squad. Let's see what the power players can do here. Possibly get a hit as well from Zeppa and Net as they get into the site, but it looks like MIBR are so ready.
Second wave too, so you have Util coming through, you heard the salvos, and now double walking in. Crossfire is beautiful.
This too! Quick shorties, each shell coming up with a frag there for Net and Zeppa as Noswer clears off the round. MIBR on a little bit of a roll now.
Artesian's the one that's getting 3 kills with a shorty from inside this pit, starting with his first one here onto Mitch. Again, really did a great job, MIBR, from splitting that first wave. Look at that snake bite on the ground too, nothing you can really do. Everybody's actually losing HP going inside that pit. So Artesian had so much value with the shorty, look at that. It's just too nice.
Very confident play from MIBR here. None of the kind of trepid play we saw coming out of them in the first match that they had where they were unsure about things. It was like they were playing injured. They didn't want to hurt that injured foot a little bit more. So play a little different. Seems like they have no longer an injured MIBR. They're coming out strong here and they're looking to tie up the game. Getting C9 to call a timeout.
Yeah, a naming timeout. That's, I wouldn't necessarily say early in this half, but also probably figuring out, trying to see how they could actually play around this new composition of stalls that comes out of MIBR, because yes, they've done a great job here holding out and filling out the utility at the very beginning in these rounds where they avoid that Viper and also this Vice util. When it comes down to those holds in the pulse plant, it didn't look too good on that B side hold. No. So now you want to have to iron that out a little bit more. Go back into the work towards the A side, as you can see here, where they're able to bait out that utility from MIBR, force MIBR also to use mid-run util to find info, and then hoping to be a little bit more ironed out into maybe a pincer maneuver to not allow Shinom to get too much value here on the pulse plant retakes for MIBR.
Yeah, Shinom alive in any of these instances seems to be delivering so much info. I hear this util was used, we can attack now, you know.
Exactly.
Just able to set up the re-hit. And that's what MIBR is kind of needed here. C9 pushes themselves into sight pretty fast each time, but the post plants have been trouble.
They started with paint shells, all that util being used by MIBR on his half-buy from Cloud9. Yes, there's still going to be a little bit of a stall for MIBR on that side when they move inside the site.
Whoa.
No
way.
Artisan with 3. The hat trick coming up quick here. They can't even get by the Razor Vines.
W crazy था
They
लेकिन
really didn't even make it into sight. They just got spammed through
crazy
the
W
smoke
था
and
कोई
couldn't even trade
help
back
भी
the
करने नहीं आ
Vandal.
सकता वहाँ पे wall है देखो
Consider
deadlock
it
था
being that. And Zeppa had the ultimate there. Looked like they wanted to use just about everything to get into C.
It's quite interesting too, because Cloud9 in that pistol round, they did a good job paint shelling towards that front of the C side to attempt to break util there. Now they have salvos and paint shells, but they don't even break the Razor Vines, which allowed here Artisan to stuff them on their attempt to hit towards the C side. But at least Zeppa for now, Guardian shot in the beginning.
Quick salvo. Tall task.
Shot.
There's 1-2. And the trade's going to be there for Mitch, but Cortezia comes up with one of his own. They get a few more alt orbs on the map. They still have this Nightfall coming in from Nazwar, so able to use that, able to figure out if they do need to retake the site where their opponents are going to be really, and they've had that for a while, actually.
Exactly.
Just sitting on it because they feel so confident about these holds. And props to Artisan, actually.
You'll look at that exactly. He's able to get 3 kills like that. So the fact that they don't have to use the Nightfall already from Nazwar, it also allows for them to start cycling these ultimates that are getting very close on the defensive side too. Most importantly, Aspas.
He's going to have his again.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So there's a lot of confidence coming out from the MIBR camp since that round number 4. They tied things up, all of them stringing rounds, both teams stringing rounds. We have a game in our hands.
You can see Artisan claims the skull there on his player profile. He is crushing right now to help MIBR get back in. So what can C9 do? Back to pretty much the first, second, third, and fourth round strat here. They want to tempt C, waste some util, but now they got some lurkers this time, Vans.
Here, they're just what? Well, we'll take those.
Okay.
Radman spray through the smoke, and Cortezia falls, and that's that wall and all that Vice util already gone.
This is the C smoke spam game seems to be happening right now. I'm sure Mitch is very happy to see that. He's going to reorganize the team, go across the map, choosing where the solo Shunnum player is, and they should be able to hit this quite hard.
I mean, you already see it. After losing so much utility on that C site, now MIBR has to stay towards this site because C9's been doing good at stop and goes, stopping and cutting noise and re-hitting towards that same site. So MIBR, the call from Nazwar is to continue to stack towards C. If anything, hopefully Shinam could escape because he's got the TPs and he could play the retake once again with a splash.
Beautiful trade. Oxy still gets one though. They're going to be able to take site. The run over from MIBR, that Nightfall still there, but it's going to be a tough consideration with Zeppa's ult and the control C9 have.
That's one thing too that was good for C9 on the pulse pipe on this side, the delay that they have around this composition to utilize the salvos with like 10 seconds left on that spike, and they guarantee that round. It happened twice the last time they played on this map too. So it'll be difficult for MIBR here to retake the site.
They throw the ult in. Artisan as well, just with a bit of that lurk timing to get himself into sight. They don't know about the tree members or that ult from Zeppa ready to be popped off from far away.
I mean, look at that. There's already sonic sensors on the first one. There's the ult. It's going to get a half at least.
Oh my god.
Almost. Got hit by the door or the Armageddon on the way out, if you will. That was tough. That was close, but C9 still knew they had the post plant with ults in hand.
And I get it that you have to stick the spike because, again, you have to think about the salvos after the Armageddon coming out here from Zeppa. So you have to make sure here that you at least get it halfway. If not, the delay is too good for Cloud9. And they'll be able to win that round no matter what. But the thing is, that position that they had on that post line, they still had Vic on the top of heaven. There's nothing you can really do. You can't even escape. You're hoping that at least for your teammates that they were able to drop some players while you're defusing, but it's just too good. Cloud9 had a great crossfire setup, but they finally turn it back in their favor here to regain the lead in this first map.
All right, they focus Aspas Orb on A. Just grab the ultimate for him, so Showstopper is ready to close the curtain on Cloud9 this round.
That's why we wanted to see the paint shells to come through, but it's a little bit too shallow. So the Razor Vines are still pretty good for the inside, just around the water up that ramp.
Look, he's playing mid so he can get over to C. Cloud9 have loved. They've just made a home here, a second home away from home. And this is the fact. They did this before. That was actually the way they got the Showstopper out of B last time, but nobody's buying it. MIBR knows that these fakes are so abundant from C9 on this first map.
You see the change too. Finally taking advantage of that smoke so they could actually bait out that wall. You really want, at this point, now that you have Oxy still towards the C mount for him, and for Oxy to start selling this fake towards the C side. They might even use the Annihilation on top of that just to keep them at bay. But look at this beautiful read. Aspas is waiting towards Roble on that side too. But after that drone, it's like, nope, let's go back towards C. Let's try to avoid that showstopper.
Especially since Shenum is so far up, right? That gives Aspas time to run left or right. They're figuring he's at B, ready to go either way, so they have to be quick. Here's the flush, here's the rush. It's going to be Oxy again. Picture perfect, and a deja vu from him as he hits backside. The rest of the team follows in tow, and Cloud9 are going to be able to plant C.
Too easy. Razorvines, yes, they blew him out, but he's already satcheled through most of it, and it takes a little bit before it blooms up, and Oxy gets 2 nice entries. Very difficult for the last 2, but at least 2 players of C9 are low. Showstopper could be really big for MIBR.
Ooh, Aspas does hit, but the ball is still there. He got popped back just a little bit from the recoil. Doesn't make it over, and it's just the pressure now. Sherman Aspas up top.
Vic's first contact.
Waiting for that head peek. Get the quick swing coming out of net. Not even going to peek just yet. His net is low. He leaves it up to last second. Aspas still finds him. This is what we talk about, the mechanics. Creating the 1v1s, finding half defuse. And now he's got to figure out where it's coming from. Here's a shot from Vic. Quick blast. Oh, he's going to pop himself off the spike with the blast pack. So Vic hits the shot as he's forced to peek. Unfortunate, but Vic claims the round.
Just one of those unfortunate moments on the 1v1 when that spike is ticking down. You want to be quick and react really quickly for Aspas. And a rare miss in terms of utility from one of the best duelists, if not the best duelist that we currently have here in the VCTs. Leading the charge in terms of kills since the VCTs have started. And sometimes, you know, the best of the best can make those small mistakes, and Vic takes advantage of that on that 1v1.
Beautifully played. And a lot of it has been expected from Vic. We saw in previous tournaments already in the offseason. He has been absolutely crushing it and just slotting in with this team like it's been so many years.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff from him so far.
And right now there's a timeout being called by Fraud. You want to start reeling things back, but thankfully here for the MIBR camp, it's their first timeout of this whole series of this first map. So they leveraged that timeout that was called out by Yimi. They were able to string a couple of rounds here, but then realizing that C9 are actually baiting that util that we're talking about here from Vice. So after they bait it through, they don't have too much util in the mid round to figure out really what C9 is going to try to, or where they're going to try to end up. So you do want to start being a little bit more proactive here in terms of map space that you want to gain for MIBR. At least shut down that lane if you're seeing that it's very wide for C9 in our default.
Yeah, I think one of the things with MIBR's map grab is they're so easily giving it up. Like C9 is bringing the whole pile, all the cooks to one spot, and they push off Shenum, right? And they figure that's okay, so they go back to the other side, and they're just getting that bit of information instead of MIBR saying, yeah, Shenum's pushed up, let's bring Aspas and Nazwar as well and see if they walk into us. First spot. So I feel like MIBR has to take advantage of that and keep scaling the position they first push. See what happens.
Yeah, I think it's also like just trying to take advantage of this re-hit from C9. Not only delays, but you need to add more on top of the delays here so that you really don't allow this to happen from the C9 camp. And to kick things off, we talk about that proactiveness. Already 2 of them pushed all the way up towards the entrance of A main.
Here we go.
So you already have a good idea that C9 are playing that same default at the beginning, but they are unaware of what's happening holding towards that spawn because they never crossed that line of scrimmage. Big fight coming up here between both Aspas and Zeppa potentially.
Trading shots through the smoke, not trading, but putting shots through the smoke to see if they can get any of those trades back.
मम्मी को सपोर्ट करता तो पापा को गाली देता है क्या एग्जांपल देता हूं यार मैं नजर ना लगे बंक्स भाई
on Lotus. Attempting it once again.
Bas wo haan na bol de meri gaan lagi.
Really just a stalemate right now. As MIBR is not giving up that util C9 usually sees.
He's trying to save a little bit of that fuel because they still have a snake bite with this crossbar setup.
20 bande uchle.
Full on could do it.
Artson doesn't get hit. He's able to take one down with a stinger. A quick trade though. The site is not considered open just yet. Still one Nazwar in the backside trying to hold it down.
He got netted.
Oh, he still gets the kill though and he's able to skirt to safety. But for how long? Quick flank, we saw this push coming in. Shenum and Aspas already there. The timing has been perfect, and Nazwar's damage from the back of the site leaves Mitch alone. Leaves him in a very troublesome spot, and Aspas cleans it up. Another round for MIBR.
That's exactly what you want from your IGL with that experience.
Perfect.
Yes, some teammates are falling down, but you've done some good damage. You did great delay, but on top of that, not giving your life away. You don't allow C9 to flip the map, to flip the site over to play towards that spawn. So he delays long enough, even
किसी को मारे
getting hit by
और
the
मरे या
after
फिर
shot
ऐसे
can
ही
even get the
मरना
kill on
fix
top of that
Yeah.
to allow these two players to flank from behind. And you also saw the setup from MIBR before they started flanking. The first contact wasn't going to be Aspas at that point. It was going to be Shenam on the top of the rocks, so he can actually get the first contact, bait out that util, and bait out the players to focus against him. So that Aspas can hopefully reel in a multi-kill, but it was done towards the late round. Last round, though, of this half, and MIBR are keeping this game close.
Credit to them. Figuring out the little things and just slowing C9 down is making them so
पता नहीं
uncomfortable.
आदित्य, I think
Not too
12
many ults here to be used in the last round. They've been all used to just get us to this
12
point.
months, फिर 24
Seems
months,
like they need to rinse and
36
repeat
months,
as soon
ऐसा
as they can. As they are going punch for punch here.
कितने टाइम बाद
A lot
Radiant
of
batch
aim for
है?
C9 to start this one off.
What time बाद Radiant batch?
C9's another slow default. Probably want to try to make that pit come out as soon as possible here so that they could actually
hey,
work a
Radiant
better
member
pit
chat
round,
में भी?
trying to isolate and understand where this Viper could be playing.
Prowler doesn't see anything. And there's no push from Artsine right now, but he does know no quick C push.
3 days में 1 year of
These
membership
three, so the
complete.
defense
Love
is
you.
good for MIBR, and these
Radiant
are
is
the reads that have
36
kind of
months.
set them up right. They have enough utils to just stall C9.
This round is too important for Artisan to actually push out. He's got that pit. He's playing solo on that C side too. So he's just doing for information while the other one could actually stack up towards this A site. They still have the stall from Shenam with the flash. The Haunt actually didn't get too much information here, so that's going to start having MIBR guessing.
That 40-second hit, that's when your signature comes back up, so we see a bit of the skills being used. Odyssey opens up the site here, and now MIBR has to force back C9. They get one.
मेरे को ऐसे क्यों लग रहा है जेनोम ने उसको ब्लाइंड किया है?
Vic's able to transfer that one over in the trade, though, as Nazar is chasing just on the heels, just on his coattails. The right click, classic. Nazar gets the 3K and a 6-6 first half.
And that's a great start for MIBR.
आपको भी
Really,
regenerate
they're
करे
the
3
ones
बार
that
कैसे?
are playing with nothing to lose because this is a brand new roster going into the stage of the VCTs. Cloud9, you always have that name around, you know, the fan base that you currently have here in North America that will most likely go towards C9 at the very beginning. And a very slow start from MIBR. But now you have the new players coming in and actually shooting.
It's so good. Don't go anywhere. We cut right back with the conclusion of Cloud9.
Watching you from US, bringing shoes for you this year end. What's your shoe size? Shoe size is UK 10 शायद.
Red Bull gives you wings.
बट कुछ लाने का जरूरत नहीं है यार ऋषभ भाई, मेरे को ऑलरेडी 2 जीते मिल गए मेंबर्स हो गए, वो भी बहुत क्रेजी दिया है. एक तो मैं शायद यूज भी नहीं करने वाला, उतना क्रेजी दिया. उसको सजा के सर पे रखूंगा मैं. दूसरा यूज किया तक भाई के शादी में. Hey, Binks man, love you, Watchparty, love it to you. Off-white X dunks वाले ना, हाँ. उसको यहाँ पे रखा है. दिख रहा है? राइट के डब्बे के नीचे वही है. क्योंकि यार आज सेप्टेम्बर में कुछ लाओ नहीं. वो नए घर में शोपीस में बैठा रहेगा वो. Choose. Where do you live? India में.
Welcome back. Let's get the second half underway. Cloud9 versus MIBR. A very different MIBR than I think everybody was expecting to see, but I think they're happy to see it because they are showing some life here. They are showing that they can control what's going on when it goes wrong, and they can make it right.
It's definitely nothing but big tests for MIBR because Sean mentioned at the desk they chose this map versus Hunter-Beast. They had to start on the defensive side, and they got rolled. And now this time it looked like it was going to be a similar story until you started seeing MIBR string 4 rounds in a row and tying up the game, and even closing out on a 6-6. And that's coming into potentially an untested composition against C9. But that shows a lot of work that's been done here behind the scenes by Fraud and how much hours are put into both of these coaches to make sure they don't get eliminated today. We start things off now in the pistol with MIBR starting very slowly at the beginning of the spawn.
जितना यूटिल्स MIBR early waste करेगा.
Even Zeppa saved his salvos.
उतनी गाफ लगेगी.
Is this going to be a wall coming in? Yeah, here's the wall. Here's one thing. Knows he can wall a link, but it's going to be tree for MIBR. They should have a pretty easy walk-in and setup as they see Mitch for a quick damage to the wall. But here comes the salvo. The side
big
rush.
nade.
Cloud9's actually ready to waterfall in here. And MIBR's a bit split for how they want to defend this. Oxy and Mitch, quick two to start it off here as they get things fired up for C9. Now it's just a hide in the smoke. MIBR is not looking good for this round.
Just too much going on for Cloud9. Even that wall funnels him into the front line. So much util to stall them and allowing for C9 to be able to do what they're good at. Flitting back and training as a team so far this kickoff. And Cortezia and Shinam, the new bloods, are going to have to clutch a 2v5.
What an awesome set of util. The wall to the left there, Van. Salvo on the spike, and then you can only hide in tree or in the open. Bye-bye.
Shells on top of that front line at the same time. And that's a little bit of C9 when they played against G2, for example. Remember when Oxy was satchelating in the front of that B site, he got stopped by Salvos and fault line.
Rush with Binks was pretty maza hai.
So that MIBR cannot get a plant, cannot get set up in post-plant situations, and also forcing players to run right into your crosshair where you're just placing their easy shots. You just saw here from the replay. Cloud9 has two of them won so far, but to win 2 pistols and make it at 7-6, MIBR still has a chance.
They are definitely fighting back strong to keep it that way. 2 pistols down, you're right. The C9 will start cleaning up some kills here on this second round, and they should very much be able to take pretty handily. As it's just a sheriff for Aspas looking to find a headshot here, maybe a spike plant to get money in the hands of their team, but it is not looking like that.
It's so nice. You're looking at the protocols of a pistol round or an eco rather for the team losing the pistol. You want to try to farm up some orbs, trying to bring up the ults here in the later game in the mid half of the half, literally, to try to turn it around and start cycling a little bit of these ults. But C9, they held extremities and then made sure that they put the wall into B, because if you can't take the orb, what can you do? At least try to go for a plant. That's also gotten delayed by C9.
How annoying that younger than you, We saw it A over there with the wall. Now he's got stuff on C, but he walled B this time. So is MIBR going to go a place each time and be like, oh, no, we found the wall again? Slowing down their strat. Aspas, a bit of damage there, but Vic and Oxy will find the last 2 for their second one of the second half. Here as they come into the bonus round.
And you'll take this for Cloud9. There was still a heavy investment going into this second half, because, or second round rather, a Phantom Bulldogs on top of that, and only losing 1 player in the process. You'll take it for sure here for C9, especially with how they were aggressive on those extremities. If it was a 5-player death ball going out here from MIBR, it could have been different story just on the fight towards Bound, for example.
See if they can activate Aspas. I feel like it's one of the things that really allow them to at least put the pressure on C9. Once you unlock him, you know he has a server aura that everybody has to respect. Less funny business, even in the high lows, because he will hit it. Can they get into that point? Can MIBR start to get that comeback going? Salvo and C9 just says nothing will be free to start these rounds. They push out on both sides of the map.
Yeah, everything's being held down. Again, the objectives of getting the orbs now denied, even as Oxy is 1 away from his own ult. And Mitch never used his fault line in the very beginning. They just used the salvos, realized here that MIBR wasn't really adding or trying to fight back in terms of their own util. But this is just going to be a chess matchup. Who's going to start using the second wave?
Oh, giant fault line goes across the team. They try to get the showstopper in there.
ऊपर डालना था ना मरता था एक
और to actually cancel that, so this gives a chance, despite the player disadvantage for MIBR, a chance to still fight because it's an open A site. They're still working as a team, and Aspas even potentially could get higher ground.
He's gonna push. Oh, aftershock just threw his person, but he's gonna keep it on this one-way right now. Nice setup. MIBR gets into position quick, and they have pretty decent defensive positions. If everyone being inside where they want to be, just on that backside.
Reveal. यहाँ पे आएगा blind.
Oh my gosh.
2-10 nade.
Push Oxy first, maybe.
ले भाई
the distraction, the paranoia comes through as well. Oxy gets hit there as Nazwar just
ज़मीन से निकल के मारा
Oxy and Vic coming up big on that as the waterfall into the site is just too much. Cortezia now in tree. A few shots to hit, but it's going to be the swing from all 3 members of Cloud9 to pick up another round in their second bonus.
Continuing to steamroll in these early halves are Cloud9, but I gotta say, Aspas did a great job playing on the top of that
Yeah,
heaven,
man.
but that extra piece of util, throwing away the Razor Vines behind those boxes, could potentially give that tell that somebody already pushed up when you already had that one way. That was potentially an opportunity here for Aspas to punish somebody that's gonna overpeak in these moments where C9 could get caught off in moments like these. And you saw the timing, they're trying to hold back towards that drop. It didn't work out as they planned to for MIBR because they were trying to play the salvos around that flash. But they threw the salvos a little bit too early at that point, so C9 ended up having a clean retake. MIBR forcing into stingers in this round, or half bind, so they can bind into the next. Leveraging stingers and group play, working in tandem, buddy system, trying to get this plant towards this B site.
कितना यूटिल है भाई, कितना यूटिल.
Utility towards B. Almost looks like Vic's ready to paranoia if they do get information across that B front and main.
ये लोग में क्या है, woman blind है भाई.
MIBR has worked around it. They're going to start heading towards A if a possible baby door hit here once they get the motion going.
And it's going to be into Oxy's Outlaw. And I love the scale now. Positive things about MIBR playing this double controller is that they could actually play the surprise game that were a little bit too passive. Almost got punished there, but at least they know that the raise is there with the Outlaw. They pivot potentially for a split to the B side, but it's held off by Net Squall in the front.
क्या करेगा बता?
Good.
Wow.
Netted off.
क्या करेगा बता? वहाँ पे wall and trade भी नहीं ले सकते. क्या करेगा?
Such communication from
क्या
across
करेगा
the map that this team can utilize as Cloud9 stops MIBR's quick
क्या
push
करेगा
there.
बताओ?
The plant will still go down, but a little worse for the wear. All right, Shannon with a great scale push. I don't think they can retrieve that weapon though. Just guarding each other in sight here. C9 getting prepared to retake.
अभी smoke में नेड आएगा. लो नेड भेज.
Get that defuse.
Smoke में नेड डाल दिया. अभी नेड सैचर मार
I
के
think
घुस.
MIBR is kind of scrambling on this one. They don't know which way to look as their whole team starts to fall down around them. Nazar is able to answer, but it's just a stinger. Knowing these Vandals are coming through, they still have to scale just a little bit. Coming up huge with Nazar, and the two veterans are able to capitalize on the round.
Oh my gosh, that looked like it was going to be a C9 being able to play that retake as a group and get into the last second to fuse. When you see here what happens in terms of the trap plays,
ये तो करने की जरूरत नहीं था. वो इसी डेट था बता.
Oh my gosh.
फुकट पीक लिया उसने.
But you saw it from MIBR's side. They were starting to use a lot of util to try to push back the defenders towards their spawn, but they're already playing further back, and they had less util to work with to stall in the last re-hit from Cloud9. But thankfully, the Stingers were actually really good here onto Artazine and Noswer.
पीक भी लेने की जरूरत नहीं था अभी वहाँ.
And half buy that converts into a round, you're going to take that for sure because it adds a lot more room to breathe here for MIBR, who continue to trail behind in the early halves of this map.
Okay, spike down in spawn, so a little bit of a default here. Wow, big push up by Mitch right now. He's going to be giving out calls. Got a judge just on the outside of that. His three members ready to rotate to any side of the map from B. MIBR plays a bit of the door game. Remember, Spike's still down though, so we're going to see a big rotation here.
Still very interesting that MIBR thought that C9 were playing some sort of mount control, so they already burnt out their paranoia, opening the wall and
all those smokes.
Exactly, trying to go for some sort of pinch. So your second wave, the re-hit back into what they want to try to do here, could be determined right here. Oh God!
The jumping headshot, that's going to cause Nazar to back up. No one to heal on that. Prowler's used up, so they know they don't have the initiator utility to the left side or wherever they are going to hit.
C9
really well right now, controlling the map, and they paranoia off this steel garden for now. Stave off MIBR's pressure so well. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have pistols towards the end. You have salvos coming all the way from spawn. The wall that comes up from net. And now you have zero util going into B.
What are we watching? What a round from Cloud9. I feel like they were literally hearing MIBR's comms. Every stun, every hit, shutting down the steel garden. Picture perfect there.
That was exactly what we were seeing. A masterclass round by Cloud9 on the defensive round. Just doing a good job here, just this right here, the first kill from Mitch. And as that second power comes out, and he's already playing close towards that door, he knows that the attackers are going to think, well, that we're way too scared to play against a judge just around the corner with no more util left. You have to pivot somewhere else. You're going for the Hail Mary to try to work towards that C site, and you basically have not burnt any util on that side from Cloud9.
Yeah.
And that's how you pay the price. Now you're falling by
भाई ये लोग को अभी क्या करना मालूम है, वो करना पड़ेगा मालूम है 3-1-1. 3 बंदे एक साथ जाएंगे, वाइपर सोलो जाएगा, और एक और किसको सोलो जाना पड़ेगा, कौन जाएगा पता नहीं। आई थिंक वाइस 3-1-1 करना पड़ेगा ये लोग को पिक्स चाहिए ही चाहिए, भले ट्रेड हो या स्पेस हो। ये लोग क्रिटिक्स खेल नहीं सकते, क्रिटिक्स बोलो, पोस्ट प्लान नहीं खेल सकते ये लोग। वाइपर और वाइस सोलो यही करना पड़ेगा। 3-1-1 या फिर 2-2-1 ये भी चलेगा, 2 बंदे एक तरफ 2 बंदे एक तरफ, एक बंदा अकेले। एंड पॉसिबल है ये लोग कहाँ पे भी अर्ली फाइट ले। Toxic, thank you for the membership.
At the same time for MIBR.
Yeah, you've worked on killing the guy that got
कल जी का मैच मजा आएगा। Yes sir। तो है नहीं क्या नहीं रे?
But now you got to worry about the
another one.
Another one who could drop plus 23 in your series.
Yeah, it looks like he may just do that. He's going to keep going for sure. Got a few more rounds to do it. And again, just trying to take advantage of the position on map already. Pushed out on the extremities to understand they have rush control, and MIBR can't do anything at pace yet.
And it's just one smoke here that slows down MIBR. They're going to try to go with similar things, but this time, the gamble of just walking through the smoke from Shenom with the spike. It turns out good for them because now they can move through, they can grab an orb.
Yeah.
This is stun trigger होगा ना, वहाँ से
for MIBR to just walk across like that and potentially even lose the spike
अभी
in the process.
drone ने पूरा clear भी किया है कि दरवाजा खोल के चले
From
गए।
Cloud9 by tapping an orb, for example, trying to see if C9 are trying to play these type of trap plays because Net was already there here, playing toward the front of the C site.
Talking about little trap plays.
इतना बीटे वे बी पे अगर वो ट्रिगर हो गया तो भी कॉम्बो आएगा, सी पे ट्रिगर हो गया तो भी कॉम्बो आएगा, ए पे लड़ेंगे तो भी कॉम्बो आएगा।
C9 loves just opening the door, so this isn't confusing them. They're not over rotating. They're seeing MIBR go to C, open the door, and take more time, but it is going to be a C hit.
You know what they say, opening a door opens another opportunity. An opportunity here for Cloud9 to anchor the second attempt to push. Yeah.
Here it is.
And that's the opportunity this time for C9. Unfortunately, though, for MIBR, because they lost the first player in front
of
them.
Where are they going? They open it again. They didn't want to go that way. The spike was stuck for a second. They're going to try to get through now. Oh, this deadlock utility, but it's still there. Nat has his hands in every pie at every site, and you just can't get by this utility. Vic's going to be able to clear the site there as Aspas doing what he can, but gets danced around as Vic.
और इसको मारता भी था,
and it was almost there. Like you would think that you had an opening for MIBR, that maybe the wall was missed here by Net, but he's been continuously throwing this wall just to thwart the push back up towards the ramp of water, so you can't scale towards that left side. So what does that do? You funnel everybody into a potential
Watchparty monetary
and also from waterfall.
Zero
this
भी नहीं, negative.
Solo and still gets a kill because they're playing basically
negative because my ads are off.
Let's go!
And look at that. Look what Aspas has to fight around. Look, and
so I can make
push by it and not
technically
have
I can
a
make
trade from
more
their
money
teammate,
streaming
the walls, the deadlock
normally.
Nat is making
so
some of these sites so difficult to fight in right now with just that, the deadlock Nat and the rest of the util. The first time from MIBR saying no, A Rubble's ours. What a pressure hit here.
Yeah, and that was answered back by Zeppa
They
Salos.
cannot go A straight.
That push from MIBR, but not adding more util for
दरवाजा
C9.
खुला।
They're okay with letting
It's a
MIBR
combo.
take this over because
पहले
they can
बूमर
still
डालेगा शायद।
potentially combo more towards this tree because Oxy has Showstopper. You want to bait him into the tree hit.
Just wanted a nightfall and caught a fault line for Mitch. Like, you see what kind of timing the MIBR is dealing with. It doesn't affect them too much, but that was going to be their hit. All these little things causing them to block. Oh, in the tree, right over the top of one. Oxy's going to get traded back by Aspas as he stays alive in the situation, only to fall to Mitch. Oh my gosh, Zeppa on point with the salvo to find another one here. And again, a scattered MIBR tries to pick up the pieces. It's going to be a TP
Question
to
is, क्या
just
करेगा?
love these moments where you can just stay in the back of the spawn and get free kills by just hitting on your iPad and getting kills and combining off util. And you can't play a lurk against the master lurker himself, Net, who's been punished here and there, but also finding great value on super late lurks. Just really snuffed out and sniffed out Cortezia, trying to go for that flank in. This is going to be another impossible task for the other rookie in this roster for MIBR, Shenom, on a 1 versus 4.
क्या करेगा क्या करेगा ये
Dude.
क्या करेगा
wrapped up in a cocoon of utility and taken down by Vic. That's going to be a defuse here as C9 put map 1 on game point.
Yeah, and that was just a Hail Mary, at least to try to get a little bit of a silver lining for MIBR. You look at the economy going into potentially the last round of this first map, it's abysmal. They have nothing left. So getting that extra 300 credit across the board with the spike plant, it gives you a fighting chance where they did get value off
team का कोई problem नहीं है. I don't think MIBR is a weak team.
It's basically Oxy, what he was saying in his interview with Pedro Romero. He couldn't play that game when he was trying to entry towards that side because there's so much utility.
All about
it's just Cloud9.
Raise,
just
breach,
activated,
and
understanding and learning from their mistakes.
Plus, Deadlock is a good bonus.
With this composition, maximize the value
Agent
of the
lekin
it has been a bit of that moment for Oxy. It's like, oh yeah, this is how you do it again, right? Oh my gosh, Vic already with a frag.
क्या करेगा बंदा?
Straight through the smoke to the back of Mount.
बैठा है fire in the hole.
Cancelled the showstopper from Aspas, and that was going to be the Hail Mary potential MIBR.
Satchel करो, stun हो जाओ.
Straight through, they're going to get locked up. Deadlock U2 again, but no, Aspas is able to trade just past that as the team follows in tow. Armageddon right under their feet, but it's not going to cause anybody to go down just yet.
Thankfully, they saved the third player. That was Cocoon, so IGL's back with the team.
एक और nade.
Oh, Aspasapsappassss was super close, and they didn't even realize it, but Archie still gets the clip there. Now Oxy trades into 1-2v2 as they try to get into the site. Not easy with an outlaw as MIBR tries to stay hidden, but it's not an outlaw. It's a shorty as Nasr comes up with one. And Mitch is able to capitalize on the final frag to give C9 Lotus over MIBR.
No way that happened, that you had a 2v2. Everything was perfect for MIBR to delay here, at least to try to get the plant down. And it's just Oxy running in with the shorty, not giving him a chance for MIBR to set up and instantly drop the players. And you see a convincing victory from MIBR here on Lotus.
So good. So MIBR, a lot of the rounds coming from the ults when they had it, being able to stall a little bit, and really communicating in those hits. But it seemed like if anything was disjointed, they had no chance on those rounds. So everything being in the same spot, the right spot at the right time is tough against Cloud9 when they're going to a site, making a util, another site making a util, and you don't know where they're going to end.
At least the positive thing
मेरा बैटरी है 7%.
is that they could actually fight back
मैं
and come back in the game. They were able to make it close on the first half.
चाय
Yes, it
पियेंगे
slipped
मस्त
on the
सुबह
second
सुबह.
half, but it wasn't their
stream like कर
map
दो
pick.
at
Now
least
hopefully they
1000
have
likes.
some solution into Abyss
Sentinels
where
का क्या
C9
सीन है
also
पता है
struggled.
मैं देखा
Yeah, it's going to be a really great matchup here. I feel like MIBR can start to come back just a little bit and figure out what C9 did to win that first map. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after the break as we venture into the Abyss with Cloud9 and MIBR.
Best मतलब best. C9 का was the best form ever to play on Lotus. लाइक करो स्ट्रीम लाइक करो मैं ठीक है
Okay, Team Supreme, we need you guys on the stage now. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
The human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Aspas já garantindo 2 abates logo de começo, hein? Só que o Xenon já foi eliminado. Aspas de novo.
He's hit a couple, but Net's gonna be there. That's 4 for Net.
Cloud9, they get the first map. When I'm here with Amy, and the first thing that I want to ask you here is, Amy, you talked about struggling with the post plans and struggling with the pistols after that last match that you had. So how do you work in these past couple of days to make sure that is fixed? And how do you feel about going into the second map?
We just watched the whole game back at first against G2. We actually thought we played bad, and then we watched it back and we were like, oh, we didn't actually play that bad, just our post plans were really poor. So we really made an effort to fix our post plans this week. And pistols, there's a lot of RNG, but we put focus into new pistols as well.
And really quick, was it hard to adapt to the composition change from Furia, or from MIBR, I'm sorry?
No, because they just took NRG's comp pretty much, so we played it instead week 1, so we knew what we needed to do differently.
All right, thank you so much, good luck.
Oh, it's great to get that insight. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with TCK10, a Brazilian streamer from Cloud9, and we gotta ask you first thing here, of course, is it hard for you to root for Cloud9 when they're playing your brethren?
It's a little bit tough. I mean, I'm friends with Aspas, so it's really sad to me to see him go like so early in the tournament. But yeah, it's gonna be.
You're already calling the loss. You know? You're already calling the loss on him.
Yeah, he's like, yo, they're already gone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. Like seeing this first map already tells me everything I need to know. You see, like Oxy, yeah, with a big haze gap on Aspas. I mean,
wow,
that's the only one that can do it, right? So, yeah.
Hey, it's a true Cloud9 supporter all the way. I love the chain, by the way. I have to ask you, you know,
you like it?
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. It suits you very well. I have to ask you, you've been around with Cloud9 for quite a bit of time, and you know, in the off season there was a ton of crazy stuff going on, roster changes. What was that like, not knowing who the hell is on our roster, you know, and then you see them perform the way they are?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I went to sleep and we would wake up the next day like, oh, new roster, nice. Let's see how it goes. But now we're complete, like we're killing it, and we're going to this second map with the whole confidence of our EGL Meech and our probably one of the best duelists in the world, Oxy. So
I can see
I'm
you never
now.
doubted. Yeah, roster changes.
Tournament happened. We only get better with our roster because our roster is pretty like new. They are like together for about 2 months now.
Thank you for the membership.
If we played more like games, like difficult games like this one, we just like grow our friendship inside the tournament. You know, we grow our resilience to play even better. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I love the confidence. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you?
Oh, they can follow me at my Twitch, twitch.tv/TCK10. Yeah.
That's right. For all the trash talk against Aspas and all the hype talk and glazing for Cloud9, make sure to follow all the action. Thank you so much for joining us for a quick chat. And
Thank you so much for having me.
To learn what the coach of MIBR has to say ahead of map 2.
You said I'm not qualified. What takes to be a coach?
I'm here Fraud ahead of map 2. Fraud. I want to know, you changed the composition here. It doesn't really go your way. Now you're on the verge of elimination. What are you telling your team to make sure that everybody stays locked in for that second map?
Just to keep focus on what we practice. We felt like, you know, a lot of credit to them. They executed and played very well. But we felt like we had a really good read on what they were doing. We just were failing on our execution part. So we just got to go back to some of the basics on what we do in practice, which is just focus on the execution based on the reads that we have. And, you know, hope that, you know, we have a better half, you know, get us a pissed around, can do some of these rounds that, you know, maybe 5v3s and stuff like that. But other than that, I think that we are very confident. Like I said, practice well, have good reads, and we just got to execute.
It's always the little things, right? Thank you so much.
Oh, pistol on जीते तो भी.
He always looks ever so slightly concerned.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt like a heavy comp dip.
That was both pistols, both bonuses.
Yeah.
Like
that said, though, I still feel like we've seen a lot more signs of life from them this time around.
I mean, that's actually a positive, what I just said, because you can't win a game like that. The fact that they even got any rounds at that point is like, okay, they played well individually, but you can't dig yourself those holes. Both of those pistols, the opening pistol, was it 2v5? Oh my God, it's so brutal.
It's extremely difficult, but I gotta, this guy on the screen, this was such a breakout performance from Vic. I mean, he hasn't really had a moment where he's had an impact like this at 3.9 KDA in the offseason. We weren't seeing any of this. 44.2 shot percentage. This is the Vic that we know from Tier 2. I got to play against this guy. He was destroying me. And I'm happy to finally see it translate on the VCT stage.
I love that the majority of the Cloud9 roster, like in week 1, Mitch had a really good game as well, and then Zeppo obviously popping off. Now it's Vic's time to shine.
And that's a great sign for Cloud9. Mitch coming in as the slowly, one by one, the dominoes are falling. Now everyone is getting activated on this team. Just bodes good things moving forward.
They're just one map away from keeping themselves alive in our kickoff tournament. We're heading into a quick break, and we'll be back with map number 2 right after this.
फर्स्ट मैच कौन जीता? C9। अभी कोई स्पोर्ट्स कोचिंग स्टार्ट करने का सोचा? नोप।
Welcome back to the second elimination match. We're about to head into map 2 on Abyss between Cloud9 and MIBR. And MIBR need to come out strong here. They need to come out swinging. Fraud said they were easily able to identify, a few things. And C9, credit to them, they were just playing well. But MIBR now needs to step up to that.
But I'm energetic and motivated. कैसे रह पाते हो?
Starts for MIBR, but they're able to string some rounds back. And
if they lose MIBR, are they out of
pistol,
or
but they also lost their bonus round. So when it comes down to those
जब भी मास्टर्स खत्म होगा बैंक ऑफ का उसके बाद स्टेज 2
खेलेंगे.
Chale bhai, long time Sankalp bhai, aap long time.
We have seen that there's
मैं तो इधर
been
ही
a stronger gun buy for Cloud9 in these third round buys if they win the pistol. So
मैंने
this is going
लेता
to be
भाई
very
वो
interesting.
सब
We move
YouTube.
over to Abyss though. That's going to be
नमस्ते
some
भाई,
teams that's
नमस्ते.
already been seen onto Cloud9 when they played against G2. So something that MIBR could pull up, maybe something that's new. But it's not. They're playing something very standard instead of an
ये वाला मैच भी लोअर ब्रैकेट है. Yes sir.
A little bit of that.
I think C9 G2 से आ रहा था
into the pulse plant utility.
और
MIBR double smoke side on Cloud9, but MIBR is going to choose to have that KO in the Jet Cypher, a little bit of that Sova as we expect to see in Astra. Interesting.
And interesting enough too, it should be easier for Cloud9. I'm going to put it out there right now because when you look at C9 digesting what happened against G2, they weren't familiar to play against a chamber. So now you want to brush things, you want to watch demos. Okay, there's been moments where we really haven't re-cleared middle the correct way, and we got punished for that. Now that they've isolated that and understood that, okay, well, maybe in these moments we could do that again, but now they're doing it against a more standard composition, something that they're used to playing against, which could really give them an advantage.
Oh, straight off the bat, it's going to be a hit towards the bottom of B here, right off a ramp. A trade back and forth leaves only one down for each team.
I think ये लोग को लड़ने पड़ेगा, ये लोग
searching
अटक
for
चुके
each other, and just this one extra smoke. Mitch on the side, it's going to be Nazwar up high. They're able to trade that one back, and now
2v3 doable.
C9 are left with 2 to defend.
I love here that Cortezia is not continuing to push forward. It allows for them to just fight a 1v1, but even for C9, they don't care about front B. They want to trash him right away.
That's beautifully done there,
1v2
but that's
doable.
to find that quick trade for the teammate. The Ghost is there for net. Usually alone on the lurk, knows this situation and how to create 1v1s, but is it going to be enough? There's one.
Oh, short
Aspas. The chin of Aspas and a miss as Aspas cleans up net. MIBR get the pistol round.
They almost got the lineup too. I think he even got a chest
Didn't
shot with the
attack
Ghost. It was going to be super close, especially that Aspas invested into a Ghost where a headshot probably would have taken out clean and give net that Red Bull clutch. But I gotta say, the first time here that we see some miscoms coming out from Cloud9, I love the fact that they were pushing back and crunching from Ivy into the connector to try to take down that player right there, Cortezia. But then looks like the Silva just kind of broke out from that line a little bit too early, which allowed here Cortezia to get that pick onto Zeppa and give a chance here for MIBR to finally pick up a pistol round in this series.
Holy push from C9. Once again, we're going to get action out of them. I think we'll see this just about every time. Even on their fracture maps, if they didn't see anything, you saw them whipping across the ropes from the defensive side. And they forgot the parachutes.
Got the orb at least.
उसके कोई है तो है नहीं है और बुटाओ गिर जाओ.
They knew they were wrong, didn't want to waste it, didn't want to give orbs. We'll have the buys coming out, some guardians there on the side of MIBR.
Plant के पहले भी गिरते तो मजा आ जाता था.
For C9 here on this bonus round.
All of them leaning towards this B site to start. It's actually quite interesting too, because you see a lot of these standard comps that leverage control towards the E side. Usually a lot easier to get recon dart, take control of the orb, and kind of work a default in that 1-3-1 right after on your attack side default. But MIBR are leaning towards B a lot here. Owl Jones still to start things off and potentially waste out the first wave of util as Mitch finally throws the knife out.
Nazwer set up on some of those outdoor gears, so make sure they have a good post plan on these. Nat have to go on the ledge. It's just going to mess up his aim. Aspas takes advantage of that as the rest of MIBR starts to stay into the site very quick. So much more coordination here on just
on Lotus. Agreed. And that's the beauty too of playing a composition like this for a brand new team. When you talk about the synergy just on paper of what you could do without thinking about the map, you already know the timing that the KO flash could throw, what Aspas could do on the dash to entry towards that side. It almost looks like an old school Aspas playing with Loud in their championship days, where he's going to be there, the tip of the spear really going in and finding good value with good util around him. So for MIBR to convert that pistol into a bonus and forcing C9 on a save, that's a night and day performance of what we just witnessed on Lotus.
And you're starting them off at 4-0-1, so Aspas confidence through the roof as well. He knows there's a lot of
G2 ने जो किया था ना वो एक्चुअली गलत किया था. G2 ने क्या किया कि राउंड चालू होते ही गिर गया.
When they enter these sites, really heady stuff.
बाकी टीम्स तुम लोग देखो वो लोग क्या करते हैं फिर एक साइड स्टैक करते हैं. अगर वो स्टैक में घुसे तो गन्स वन्स गिराएंगे.
Yeah, it's just learning on what C9 has
लड़ेंगे, ट्राई करेंगे जीतने का.
G2, but Imi mentioned
फिर जैसे ये लोग ने क्या एक जगह पुश करेंगे.
Where they already knew
जैसे वो पूरा टीम को इन्फो आ गया कि सारा टीम यहाँ से पुश कर रहे हैं. वो लोग बाद में नहीं जीत सकते रहो. Very unlikely. तो बाकी टीम्स को और दिन से अच्छा वो लोग गिर गए. तो G2 ने किया था वो लोग डायरेक्ट गिर गए थे. मतलब
they won this, right? It should be an easy 2-0 for Cloud9.
कुछ तो बेनिफिट होना चाहिए.
Doing a great job finding those weaknesses very early and punishing these anchored plays towards Troll, where Net couldn't escape really because he's playing an Astra.
C9, we're going to be very quiet to start these off, fans. They know Aspas is ready to peek, ready to look out. We talked about what he can do to a server, right? He just makes you feel like you can't do anything you regularly do.
Yeah.
And we're getting to that point. We see C9 playing fully on the defense.
And he also used both of the rifles that they saved towards that same site where that stack is. So Mitch so far, he's finding audio information. You can't really smoke towards that front for him because Vic is all the way out towards that B site. So for MIBR, dropping that smoke, and also, actually, Net could help out playing the Astra here in this map. But at least it's good information, knowing that here MIBR are not re-hitting towards this A site, so they actually have a good read on the stack on B.
Wrong read, chat.
They themselves right into the majority of Cloud9. All these smokes to come out, the paranoia as well from Vic to slow down the hit. Vic starts on Aspas, though. We expected that to be much different this round.
Big lurk.
And now they're forced back. This one could be huge from Cortezia. He does take down Mitch, and now they have an opening on the map. An easy cross from side to side here. How fast? Oh, they don't know about the push, actually. So they're being a little worried about this, as they should. But it'll all be clear space.
Exactly. Right now for Cortezia, staying on top middle, but there's only 13 seconds left. If there's still a star left for Net, and he could suck it off the spike. There it comes for that spike attempt, and he'll go down. There's no stars coming through from Net. So no shenanigans coming through.
Quick
double trade, a swing there. Nice job by Zenon to use the structure around him, getting that easy frag out. And now it's just looking for Zeppa. It does have the Phantom, so look to save this in the end.
Save or do damage.
I think
Still,
we are going
we're gonna
map
have
3.
max bonus into
That's
the
true.
next round.
They got money.
So you could go for a half shield buy if you want to,
No?
but he's going to choose the option of saving
Ye
his
काम
rifle,
नहीं
which is
पसंद
also
मेरा.
very fine in that moment. But to go back to that round, we want to see the importance of what Cortezia could do here on these lurks. Also, when we're looking at the first week of kickoff, you had an opportunity to speak here with Milao. Gustavo was saying, hey, Cortezia going from like what, a controller role to a sentinel role, back from the Brazilian scene into the Americas, and he has crispy shots. And now you have somebody with great aim that's able to find timings like he just did right there. You want to see more of that on the attack side of MIBR.
Very unlikely, right? क्योंकि बिना sentinel के ना info थोड़ा कम हो
Very true. The rest of the team. So now we're seeing him get into the mix. This is what we wanted.
वो holes को fill नहीं करना पड़ेगा. वहाँ पे बंदा खड़ा रहना
For
पड़ेगा.
MIBR now as we get onto this Abyss pick. And that's going to have an ult, but so will Naswer. They were focusing those orbs as they went towards that B side for Naswer, as we saw it. So now they have a little bit more post-plan advantage.
Just util information at the beginning. Just
अभी ये full buy round है. Next round में ये लोग को बहुत ults भी आने.
Find out if C9 is going to try to play aggressively as MIBR. So the knife comes out early, but you also see here for C9 they went into an operator. Half shield for Oxy, and he's locking down the B side solo. That hasn't been spotted yet by the Brazilian team.
Maybe they just give him a quick Cosmic Divide if he does start to get hit fast. They have the means to shut down and save his life, but it's going to be a B hit. MIBR is focusing the right side right now. It's going to force everyone out.
Which is impossible. There is full.
A great scale by Aspas.
There is blind, there is Sova ult, there is no flank.
There should be no problem here.
It's going to be difficult to retake though, because you have an operator for C9 and you also have a Hunter's Fury for pulse plan for Naswer, but he's actually using it to fight back.
Cosmic Divide's going to split a little bit just so they can get a hold of this chaos. Naswer does capitalize on one as Oxy tries to break the crosshair. Arsene still is going to find it. Nothing's going down. We see the pings happen. The trade's back into a smoke. MIBR is capitalizing so much, but wait a minute. Cloud9 with 2 as they're chasing. Now they're running. Blood in the water. And it looks like Aspas is going to go hunting.
Smart plays by Artezine, almost catching players off guard, trying to run back. Oh, still a nice shot, but they lost net in the process.
Save that operator for Oxy. They want it. Even though it kind of slowed them down on the retake, they feel like it's what can shut down MIBR as they go to hit these sites. The op gets saved. MIBR pick up round 5.
Really down for that anyways, to see Mitch also pull out and save an operator. And he also did that trade-off to allow Oxy to move inside the site, because Mitch has been good on operators on unorthodox agents like a Sage, for example, back in his early C9 days here in Valorant. So
he was the flexiest of flex players.
Exactly, exactly. So going into that one though for Cloud9, they still had a great idea of what they wanted to do towards that site. But MIBR, to be able to move into A and get a plant with barely any util used. They just walked in, they went towards that back, they realized that the site is clear, they went for a pop flash through the smoke in the pulse plant, and now everybody's trying to play the retake for Cloud9 when you're playing against a Hunter's Fury, where you can't tempo as quickly as you can, because you want to try to leverage the operator and hoping to punish MIBR on an overextension. They did so with a Hunter's Fury at least, so there is support around MIBR's game plan on how they want to play these pulse plants. So at least here you're looking at what Fraud said, the boxes you have to check here in the second map, they are definitely taking them.
And a lot of teamwork too. 3 kills for everyone across the board. Aspas has 4. So everybody's getting in the mix.
We want to win MIBR,
This is what MIBR looks like when the team is on, when they're flowing and they're feeling these rounds, especially just after a loss they took on Lotus. Didn't matter to them. They reset in the break, and they come back strong here on Abyss.
100%. They've been there before, right? With these type of players around the veterancy of Aspas and Naswer and Fraud.
Even if you look at the performances from
kickoff to the stages, they've always been towards the losing end. So for them, it's just always a learning experience on that side. And the learning is turned out quite well for the debut of 2 of these players around this roster. And okay, nice little pop flash coming out here.
Just making sure he knew where the ledge was and the updraft needed to happen. Quick save, no shot. They know the off is there though, and that's going to be the power up. Basically, it's going to be protected pretty heavily. Artsine goes down. Null Command still working pretty hard. Just to the chest through the smoke it would be, but it's no shot. Cortezia, Aspas coming to the site fast. Cloud9 on top of it before it even happens. And now we get the Cortezia.
1 second before they love you, Toxic.
Himself there.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, I'm here. I could throw a hat for us, but then It's just him alone as his teammates were falling down. I mean, look at where these X's are. It looked like they're trying to fight as a team for MIBR.
I think
I
was
actually scratching my head on Artazine just running alone with the null command. Yes, he's able to find information, but there was no util, no players swinging outside of that smoke for instant trades. So there was so much good value coming out from Aussie with the crossfire setup. I think from Mitch too on the other side of that A site. MIBR, I mean, off a timeout, that should have been something they could have kept moving forwards to. With all these rounds that they strung, the confidence they brought through, you could continue to try to disrespect C9 and their attempts here to come back in the game. And they'll start now with the first round.
3 for Oxy on the op. They put that over towards B. Yeah, you would think. You're like, hey, we flashed Oxy. Rush that site. Man's already repositioned, has assistance, ready to defend. Can't get much by the young one. See again, he was just flashed, updrafted, and got back behind the bridge. Zeppa on his right. And like you said, all those X's just in a line in the front. Almost looked like they had a crossfire, but really just 1-2 in the back of A. Great job by C9. They pick up their first, and a few ults to use here coming into round 7.
Yeah, an important ult for a retake or delay here out from Mitch.
Aspasapsappassss reaching into the money pit as well. So 2 ops.
And I love this type of battle. Oxy too having an opportunity to fight against Aspasapsappassss jet on jet in terms of this mirror match. He wants to prove here that he could triumph and take over as the best jet player here in the Americas.
You can see him pushing out of A right now. He's like, maybe I go a little further. He backed up towards the box. Somebody probably saying, Oxy, I see you on the mini-map. Don't go any further.
Advantage, though, is that Aspasapsappassss still has his dash. They could leverage that, too, for that one-on-one where Oxy can't really escape. He's got Cloudburst maybe to try to escape, and it's a 3-2-1 swing.
Oh, my God.
Through the knee of Artazine, into the face of Aspasapsappassss. A double for Oxy as he pushes up to grab that main control. And now it leaves MIBR wondering. They lose basically everything that would get them into sight, and now they just have that Sova dart to use from Nazwar.
Well, Oxy has dash now, but they lost Zeppa at least now.
Great
coming out from Cortesia. Thankfully enough, it's maybe enough to break the map going into the re-hit into this B site. The walk for contact.
It's going to be the rotation from Oxy now. Really great save so far by MIBR. Can they keep it going, though, to repair this round? Cortesia with one timing, and it's going to be just off time on Vic, too. That's 3 more now. Oxy, full rotate, blades are out. There's one just to his left. Here's the shot actually from Astra as well. Shenum. Shenum's going to go down. The ace from Oxy just to the side.
Oh my God.
Pulls out the round. The iBuyPower ace from Oxy, ladies and gentlemen.
Everything looks so good for MIBR in this post plant. The fact that they walked in, let the site open was Cloud9, and he took advantage of the pinch. The rookies coming in to isolate the players, to shoot them from behind, and suddenly Oxy comes in for the rescue.
I believe that is our first of the week, too. So iBuyPower is giving away a PC for the first ace of the week. After that, $100 Riot gift card and $100 in iBuyPower rewards for each one we see further for the week. And make sure you hit up iBuyPower on your socials. Hashtag unlock your ace, because Oxy just did.
And that's the fear that Oxy could instill. After that first kill, you're seeing that Shenum was just running back for his life so that at least they could play the crossfire setup. But Oxy did a great job just finding all those timings. MIBR this round, though, looks like they don't want to build up or allow C9 to build up in that on that height. A fast hit towards B.
Oh my gosh. Just Aspasapsappassss tunneling down onto Oxy there. They finally get the 2, and yeah, C9's going to have to wait for the scatter here. Or Mitch, in sight, alone, trying to do things as we see. Zeppa's there, but he can't help. Oh, the creep down. He uses the audio for the drop just to hide it. Still can't find anything as they mill about and try to get
double blind.
Oh, fuck. It's going to be Mitch almost with one, but the trade back from Cortesia. They're still going in. Vic chooses the shorty, but goes back as Zeppa also picks up a frag. It's going to be Shenum. Now he has to get to the side, just on the ledge. The defuse isn't there. Faking it back and forth. The spin. Vic gives him his back. He's firing too high. Fires to the left, but Shenum's able to grab it. Get that 9th round. Beautiful job. Or get the 6th for them, I should say.
That was a round that was almost converted by C9 when they're at a disadvantage.
पर वो blind में नहीं मारता था ना वो बंदा
for MIBR, and you saw this
गया था
super nice
कमेंट भी
paranoia
निकाल
coming
सकता
out
था
here
वन
from
वी वन
Vic.
लेकिन
Yes, it allowed for them to come in and swarm through and get a couple of picks, but not enough of a buddy system to thwart that double swing out from the window.
Yeah.
For
उन्होंने
MIBR
मार
on the
सकता
post
था इसने
plan.
बोला नहीं शायद वो लोग है
We're gonna have Aspas go wild this round, fans. It might be.
He's got Blade Storm and only a shorty. Already pops him in. The drone's gonna try to clear the way
हाँ
for
ये
him
लोग
to
के लिए
move
बी
in.
इजी है ना
Spike's actually coming here a little bit late. They still can wait for it. It's just going to be one, so it looks like C9 will have the retake on this. Aspas will get all the room that he wants, but he's been pushing up and scaling, causing a lot of problems for C9's retake.
So far, at least, the TP that we see from Vic doesn't allow MIBR to get forward space on top of Heaven. So all they want to do is stall, which is great. MIBR did try to press forward just like this, as Artazine almost got punished. And now all of C9 can group up for a flood retake.
The amount of info he just grabbed is huge, but Cloud9's hit could be bigger here. Nice damage to start from Aspas. Punch's Fury is going to cause a bit of chaos right up the gut in the sight as Oxy starts to open it up. Nazar, quick trade back. Everything, a patience, a moment to breathe, but Oxy keeps it going. Not a time to blink, not a moment to move. As Shenum now tries to trade it back with Cortesia. It just leaves Zeppa. Clutches happen every day for this guy, but MIBR has been on point in these post plants. A quick star will deter the defuse, and now Zeppa has to go searching. He almost gets the last one, but Shenum comes up big again. The rookies are firing for MIBR.
And that's why Artazine staying alive was super important. Yes, he almost got caught towards Ivy, but where he falls back, when he found all of that information, it's towards that side where they planted that spike. So yes, there was a paranoia once again that hit both of them from Vic onto MIBR, but he throws a pop flash towards the air. Doesn't give a chance for C9 to get the best value around their Hunter's Fury. And that small piece of util once again allows for MIBR to play that delay and win at least due to time and force C9 to make mistakes.
Crazy stuff here from MIBR. Really great adjustments on each round to make sure they can thwart C9, who are going to be pushing a bit this time, fans.
Yeah, it makes sense. Eco round for Cloud9. Guardian for Oxy trying to trade it off.
Okay. Quick trade from Zeppa. Maybe able to grab something off of that. And it's just a plant into B for right now. So the regroup from C9 here. And the flank watch from Shenum.
That's where it's important. He's going to have 4 players crunching him on him and not giving a chance here for Cloud9 to allow Noswar to play the pulse plan in front B.
Cloud9's lower by rounds. They've always been trouble in their opponent's side. Can it be this time again? Artazine says no, even after one trade on the flank there. Oh, sees that. Nazar not faked out in the situation, and a quick shot from Aspas is C9. We would figure they go down on that round. MIBR do it in pretty clean fashion.
Yeah, Prod mentioned it. How do you react rather on the reads that you get? So Artazine and actually Cortesia at the very beginning to start things off, got picked off, got information that there was at least 3 players in his point of view, so that there was going to be a flank no matter what. So Shenum, he holds the staircase. He trusts here that Noswar could watch the front, which he did. Got a double kill out of that, as you just saw. So they react quite well. Communication's very good. MIBR are really crushing here on this map of Abyss.
They really want that operator back in play too. Pushing towards A, start things off as the spike is just roaming mid.
Yeah, just trying to hold it back for a bit too.
Like
not broken, but it's actually being down. So just potentially saying, watch out. Maybe go for a pitch around here. Maybe they heard the door break early at the beginning of the round as well. Because you did have players inserted in the very beginning here from this Shenum push with Artazine. Now back to a 4-1 in that mid-round. Cortesia is still trying to activate on a late lurk.
MIBR, they've been liking kind of wasting that first 40 seconds of the round, knowing C9's moved a little bit.
Once again.
It's enough for them to feel like they have some control here, and they hit the site during that movement. Quick Hunter's Fury comes in, a lot of pings are going down, but nobody can capitalize just yet. MIBR does find shots towards the back of the site, and C9 just gets obliterated to start things off.
And while all this happens, Cortesia is inserted on top mid. He's cutting the rotates. It's so simple, at least from the point of view as we see all 10 players. But it's working according to plan. What they drew up here for MIBR in this default composition, the bench comp on Abyss. But they're lining up the stage so far with how clean it looks.
It's for sure comfort as well for these players. You see coming in.
100%.
क्या ना एक थोड़ा सा left right comp और सीधा गाफ पे.
Just getting the flanks in control and getting that information to the team. Hello.
Knife to knife.
Tries to give him a loper dart to confuse him, but Shenum's not being confused. Not right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing so well.
You're not playing Teo, so that's not going to do any damage if it actually lands on him. But yes, it's super clean, as you just mentioned, for MIBR. This is 4 rounds in a row. Stringing 5 rounds at the very beginning too.
Yes.
And it took, what, a timeout out from Imi.
आज रात को ईमी आएगा, फिर एनए आएगा, फिर
get 2
Pacific
rounds. They'll have a chance very soon here to play their own attack side, to manipulate the map themselves.
And the doubters, they can look at the top of the scoreboard there for the side of MIBR. Cortezia and Shenum topping the list there. Quite a few frags over the rest of their teammate. And Cortezia is going to do it again on Oxy. A huge start off for that first blood.
Recon
I think Oscar just went for a recon dart off the pop flash play from C9, and it was just an easy kill as Oxy was trying to find a surprise play.
All right, final round of our first half here. And already they start 5v4 trying to convert this one with a beautiful shot from the Cypher.
That's a green light go for sure.
Yep. Oh, jump over. Insight is easy. Now, Cortezia is in between just about everybody. How much damage can he do? And Net's going to say, not this time.
Yeah. A little bit exposed at this point, but you still have other players inserted for MIBR. Look at this crossfire that they'll potentially have here.
I think उसने jump किया करके sound गया.
With dart out, they leave tower. It's just kind of a fight for the high ground right now as they're trying to get back into sight. Spike already planted, obviously, so C9's got to do some work here. Aspas and the rest of the team just start getting frags left and right as that's a 3K for Aspas. And the first half, 10-2 in favor of MIBR.
I got to give it to MIBR here on the half. A lot more confident in their post plans. They were definitely more assertive, especially around their Hunter's Fury. That was out for Noswer, getting so much value in terms of information and
लेकिन वो lurk timing रखना पड़ेगा. हाँ, body पे था उसके एक बार.
But the post plan that they have here, the game plan that MIBR has on that attack side was definitely not to play post plan, to play the
timing, वो लोग का timing रहता है, वो लोग का comms वैसा रहता है.
They just want to fight back against Cloud9. We talked about that disrespect, and they gave it.
Problem है कि अगर सेंटिंग रहेगा ना पूरा टाइम एक बंदे को रहना पड़ेगा.
To see if MIBR can bring us to a map 3.
जो भी गैप जिधर भी है ना वहाँ पे एक बंदा रहना पड़ेगा. कंटिन्यू इन्फॉर्म पे खेलना पड़ता है. यस सर. कौन चेक कर रहा था आसपास में? कल से 3 रीजन करना होगा. करेंगे यार, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अच्छा ऐसा अच्छे मैचेस होएगा तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. इडीजी बिली स्ट्रीम होएगा नहीं, चाइना नहीं कर रहा हूँ. पैसिफिक में कौन क्वालिफाई करेगा? आई थिंक जी को सिर्फ एक ही विन चाहिए ना तो क्वालिफाई, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. एक विन चाहिए या 2 विन चाहिए? Bracket.
We are back for the second half and to see if MIBR can bring us all the way to Pearl. Are they shiny enough to keep this momentum in the second half? We'll find out.
So far, yeah. So far, yeah. So we'll have to see. I talked about this should have been C9's easy 2-0, but MIBR definitely had something to say. So MIBR showing a very strong attack side. C9 can also very much do the same, as their difference in comps also made it difficult for Cloud9 to play a stronger defensive side because of the double controller. But this might be a chance for them to bring it back.
All right, everybody, thanks for sticking with us. We are back on the map, and we're about to see if C9 can grab themselves the pistol back from MIBR.
Interesting round here. You do have a buy from Net onto Oxy. So Oxy's going with the Raid Boss in Shield, and Net only has 2 stars. So that maybe could be good in terms of smoke execs to play towards that site, but the delay that we talked about in the post that Net was doing so often for G2 It's not going to happen there.
He has 2 stars already used. You can see one of the Astros just a one way at the back of sight. Ben's going to be a bit of a fight here for Oxy as he gets another one, but traded by Aspas. Almost tries to get the dash shot on here. Little tower action coming from MIBR, and Shenham and Aspas with a great little teamwork play there. Okay. The mechanics that we talk about from
oh my god,
a bit of vision on sight there, so they have the upper hand. Cortezia steps back, waits for the team to drop, and then he'll make his move. Oh, slow and quiet. They're just creeping around. All shift buttons are held right now as nobody really knows what's going on until they peek. It's just left up to Net. Trying to stop that defuse. Cortezia is going to be, Cortezia now pulled off.
He's got it.
Half, there's too much time, not even half yet. It's going to be shots from Net. A beautiful job on the Astro to make sure the round goes to C9, and they do get that pistol.
And that's the other thing, too. The reason why he doesn't want to go for that third smoke with a ghost potentially when you usually have a solo Astra in your composition is because he could also leverage Vic into these smokes, into the one-ways you mentioned before that doesn't allow here MIBR to fight back in that spot. But this is still something that we've seen before, that they like to go for these pop flash fights on the top of heaven for Cloud9. And there was a good read for MIBR. They had a triple swing to fight back against that, but somehow you had Oxy head on a swivel to get that second kill. 14-11, still on the top of the scoreboard in the second map for C9. And it was good enough here for Net to clutch that 1v2 and get that Red Bull clutch for Cloud9.
Oh dear. Lots of info on this. Aspas will always take that. Good for a shot, but it just goes wide as there is too many to choose from. And now they just hang out as they get a quick orb grab onto Oxy to make sure those blades.
While
the other two, the double controllers, are just holding back,
Afternoon,
trying to
evening. Second
listen
match,
for some
evening
noise,
over.
listen for some sound. It started off here with an aggression out from MIBR, then nothing left. So you would probably think at this point, because they're on an eco for MIBR, that they're going to start grouping up and gamble into a spot. And it's B. So just always go back for the re-hit. It's a great read now for Cloud9.
And Net's going to sell it even more. This is going to be perfect.
Ayo.
Shots here. He sees the rest of the team. He says, guys, guess what? You are free to take A. And you see how leisurely now Cloud9 is going to go ahead and set up in sight. Still a pretty decent retake to come through with what we've seen from MIBR. Yep. Gotta be careful. There's a frag right there, but now they've traded sides of the site. It's all just up to this choke point. No smokes coming in for either side. Actually, yeah, Senham doesn't have any stars.
Confirmed at least now with the Aldro that nobody's flanking. So the delayed util, they still have 2 shock darts to work with. And sprays with the rifles for Cloud9.
He just got a star back, able to use it. Fakes the defuse to see if they can pull Cloud9 out of the woodwork. Aspas with 1. Double shock dart inside the smoke. Delays for just another second. And this is the game that C9 has been playing to grab their rounds, drain the clock, and take out as many members as possible.
10-4, is it possible?
Hoping to get one with him before he dies to the spike. But that looks to be not as clean as we wanted to for Cloud9. It started off well, though. Net did a great job opening up this B side right here with his first pick. Not only that, he also baited out the camera and the recon dart to say, hey, look at me, I'm selling a fake here, and it worked. And C9 were just able to play an easy take towards that B side. The post plant, the shares are still really good here for MIBR. They still are continuing with the confidence that they built here on this first half.
They're going to focus for Oxy here. Looks like they might try to, okay, he's got a weapon. I don't know, it's like 2 orbs? It'd be tough to get both of those, but they do go for the buy. Looks like it might be A again.
He has stars on both ends too. One just to counteract here on the attack side on Cloud9 in case it was this early fight coming out from MIBR.
No capes. That's why we don't have capes. All right.
Yeah, that is so annoying. See that come out of
He's like, woo.
Somebody's using old school ESP.
Yeah. Over to the left side. So they're trying to just default the map. It looks like the spike still wants to go here. Vic doesn't have ult, so we do see a probable end at A.
But this position that you have forward by Aspas.
Ooh. Does get a trade through. They're trying to sell the fake again. So it's the same round, but with more fake. Just on the left side of the map. They get it for now, but I don't think MIBR is fully bought into this one, so they're ready to defend.
Exactly. It's less numbers for the hit on the A site.
Oh, the shot.
Short,
Net says bye-bye. Sit down to both MIBR members
Crazy
on site.
Well, let's scratch that, right? Now we still have Owl Drone on the post plant. The double shot that brought a lot of value for Zeppa. And of course, Net doing what he does best, staying behind and making sure that he's the last line to secure the round with the gravity well ready here on this Astra.
Not even a connection there. They're able to back off just enough. Net can get that easy long shot. As they swing out to try and get... Yep, ease. What a trade. Picture perfect there. And they can rinse and repeat as the members.
5 more rounds.
It's just the little things into how Cloud9 actually took advantage of that ace line. And I talked about how they were able to learn from their mistakes of not used to playing against a chamber, for example, right?
Right.
This position you have from Aspas all the way up was something that Leaf did for 3 or 4 rounds, trying to take advantage of a chamber op right at that spot by jumping across and then TPing back.
Yeah.
So now that you have C9 scaling back in these corners, it's like, okay, well, we're going to go for a face check because we don't want to let people know that we are trying to hit the ace site. You want to try to still add that surprise element.
I should say they didn't buy for the fake, but Terminator was here.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. They didn't buy for that fake, but they still cleared that corner. They made sure that that corner was cleared walking back into the A main. So again, a great job for C9 and showing the amount of work that comes through from this team. It's been talked about before in other interviews where Imi was saying that he loves the team that has come together here for Cloud9 going into this kickoff. It is a team that, yes, it's fairly new, but it's a team that's super hungry to get some instant results. So when you have these moments where they're getting thrashed by G2, for example, some players want feedback, the one-on-ones to talk with Imi to try to figure out how they can min-max based on what they've drawn up in the very beginning of the strat book. And it shows here, just a small thing that allows them to be a little bit more perfect on a map like Abyss.
And talking to Zeppa in the interview last week, he said he believes this is the team around him that they feel like they can really work with, work forward. He called it the Three Stooges, and him, Mitch, and Oxy kind of doing stuff around the map, just being goons as they can get the frags in and just do whatever as Oxy goes hard. So they are definitely having fun, but MIBR has found their stride, and you gotta say they're having fun too. Seeing the rookies fragging so well, getting that vibe on, they look night and day from their first match here, and very much like we could get a third map from them.
And that's what you want. You're seeing a lot of these star duelists going into more supportive roles, the Heat, MW0, the even 10s into the last season. So to see rookies already go in these roles when they have heavy firepower to support a star player like Aspas, looking pretty good here for MIBR in the second map.
Vision up and over, such a tough spot to defend from if that jet is on the box. Ossi's gonna take position, headshot through the box, but he's traded by Aspas.
Cypher was insane timing ho sakta tha.
And now they're gonna get quick defuse and help from Vic. And already that flank is watched by Net here as MIBR set up for the Sheriff Classic retake.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's an anti-eco, just how clean Oxy was in the micro adjustments to win that 1v1 against Aspas and a tap through the box to get the headshot.
Cortezia.
Pop flash, beautiful.
Oh, you better buy him dinner for that one. A few more from C9 here as they're obviously going to be able to take down the MIBR members in this round. Looks good. So this may have not been the timeout that MIBR kind of spoke about. That could be for the next round when they get guns, right? It's like, hey, we're going to have this low buy, do the damage you can, and when we get guns,
if MIBR old side they can win. Yes sir.
Comes into play here as we hit the next round.
Especially when you move into a round where Shenom
wait play karna padega. Ab bhi aa gaya. Abhi yahan se jitna chalu hai
to be able to play the retake. Aspas has Blade Storm if they need to actually buy a weapon for somebody else if they don't have enough of that economy.
Ooh.
I mean, I was going to say the pop flash was really nice to blind up 2 players, but you got 4 players playing pulse plan at that point for Cloud9. 2 of them didn't get blinded. So not the best value in the end here for Cortezia.
I like the attempt. Glitch hai, observer glitch.
Aspas another op. He's just trying to get these opening kills as well to slow down C9's pressure. Maybe that was the idea, is to play this safe and see if Aspas can start get going.
Aspas.
Aspas.
Just covering up towards this main, and they actually double it up too. So this is a huge risk, right? You're playing this one and done in this position for Shenom. You're trying to play the bait from Aspas, but just leaving those players anchored there doesn't allow for them to support here towards this B side.
Beautiful flash, as you can see. Cortezia could see nothing as they came in. A quick trade from the teammate though. That's all they get for now. C9 an easy plant and a setup here. The speed they've been
अब
hitting
है
the site,
Astra का timing वाला
MIBR is
scene.
trying to stop, but it just is not happening.
And the Astra wall maybe could give an opportunity for CHUMMI to even play behind the wall if they want to start
इसमें
using
तो
it,
ping
but that
किया.
clock has been taken down on that spike. Not too sure if that's going to be the play. Well, there he goes. It starts.
Nobody expects. It's hardly a place anybody plays, but Zep was still there for one. They know the op is there for Aspas, so they're just going to play behind walls here. Pick a quick trade. Yeah, Aspas forced to come out now, forced to do a little walk around here and help Shenum, but they are getting routed right now. Vic is about to have the back shot. Oh my gosh. What is They're dancing around each other. Vic's going to go ahead and sacrifice himself for the play. Aspas gets out with the op, though. But another round for C9. They do lose everyone, but it's still another round.
That was still a nice play, though, by Cloud9. They just stayed within the site. They didn't necessarily overextend to try to fight back towards the heaven side. They just played towards the Ivy, where there was no pressure coming back from MIBR at the very beginning. So many of them were funneled towards that top because they wanted to protect the VIP, being Aspas with the operator. But as soon as they fall, when they couldn't win that first fight, when you know, Nosworth dropped down, then it's so hard for you to retake with an operator 2v2. You just keep Net alive towards the Ivy. He throws a suck, there's no defuse, and that's it. Trap play attempt, maybe aggression.
They're trying to push out. You can see right there in mid, yeah, from MIBR. Looking to capitalize on something. They've dropped the op to Shenum here when Aspas has the Blade Storm. So interesting to see the choice there. He has been fragging. Let's see what he can do with the sniper. Ooh, they kind of bite into this. Oxy's going to get one. These blades for Aspas are going to strike true. You better believe that. And he already gets one. They don't want to figure out what else is mid, though.
And it could allow Aspas to pick up a weapon as C9 gives up that space. So that's a Phantom now picked up. And the operator is still locking down towards that B side while you have stars. So they have stall for MIBR as well.
Great control with Aspas moving up. They know this hit's going to be here. Quick Hunter's Fury. Just misses to the side. It's a bit of a flank as they trade kills across the map here. Mitch is going to be able to plant the 3v3 now. Slowly stopping. They don't feel safe in this situation, and that always feels weird. They know the spike's going down backside. They don't know about Aspas yet. No! Yeah. Right on.
That wasn't a pistol round, but it's okay.
Nosworth kills Net off the drop.
That's no suck as well here.
Shot.
Just a sheriff for Nosworth. Jump peek, patience, perfect pull in here. Great high-low to play, almost is able to capitalize on the 1v1s, but Vic comes up with the last frag again to get around for C9.
And you could definitely feel the suspense going through in that one. In those moments where MIBR only have pistols and shares to work with, they still have great firepower. You look at these regions, in Brazil, in Turkey, they have tremendous firepower coming out from these regions as well, which is why, oh, that's unfortunate. Which is why, though, you're looking on that end, you have to credit teams like MIBR finding and trying to bring up tier 2 players into their main comps, into their main rosters. As we continue to praise earlier on MIBR's performances on their attack side, this has all been flawless by Cloud9 so far on their attack side.
Quick cross the map check here from Vic. As they're going to stick A, but look at Oxy. He is inserted way deep into mid here. Nobody knows.
Kelvier rotates too, potentially in spawn.
He's going to be able to stop all of that. The team feels comfortable to get into the front of the site as Oxy takes down Arnesine on the top of tower. Spikes down for now, but Vic already makes the leap to the top of box, and they capitalize on the site here.
Oh my God.
Man, Oxy is so far through, they have to wonder how far MBR does. They can get back to the site.
Oh my fucking God, bro.
And that's Oxy giving a little bit of a taste of
10-2 से 10-9
medicine.
Next round
He's
में
the one pushing up towards middle that usually the lurker as simple as Cortesia did. But him with a dash, able to get even more space towards that spawn and catching players off guard. It doesn't give a chance for Aspas to get value out of that operator. So early round, towards the end, C9 did a great job avoiding the operator from Aspas, who has been hot. You mentioned it before here going to the second map.
Feeling very good here. And they do a good job to do it too. I mean, you take Oxy and you slow walk him up mid. I think MIBR has been alerted the whole time to a sight hit being Oxy dashing in. So like, oh no, he hasn't dashed in here. Oh no, he's mid. So very big change up here from the way C9 approached the round to possibly avoid that off. Not show a strong hit, but be silent until they were ready to attack, and that was Oxy's move through mid. So neat stuff as they switch up the strategy this late in the game.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a wrench in the wheels for sure. When you think, as an IGL coming out for the time a little while ago, that you're starting to understand their read a little bit more.
Yeah.
Of how C9's executing here in these rounds, but then suddenly you have that boom push up towards middle here from Oxy.
STTs OP in the chat कर दो, W कर दो, मैं ज़्यादा जोर से चिल्ला नहीं पा रहा क्योंकि पिंकी सो रही है.
Interesting, and C9 was able to capitalize on one of these as well last time. So Emmy using
love it. It is thank you for the $100 मेरी जान के टोटे house views now. I hope अभी smile वापस आ गया रहेगा चेहरे पे.
Just trying to see how for
girlfriend वापस पप्पी देरी होगी.
Leverage the operator. As yes, you're having him here towards these extremities from the very beginning, except for that round where he actually gave the operator to somebody else so he can play the blades.
Love it is, love you.
And that C9 doing a good job avoiding these extremities and focusing potentially a little bit more onto not necessarily mid control, but at least inserting players in that spot. So there is an opportunity here for MIBR to maybe push a little bit more in these
second time out
try to thwart here C9's setup.
Yeah, and when we get back into game, I mean, just look at that scoreboard across the top there. Cloud9 on the second half has just been punishing towards MIBR.
Something that we've seen on Abyss as well, right? Especially when we go towards these more default comps, it's been much more explosive on the attack sides. And
thank you for the 10 gifted. मेरी जान के टूटे better new beginnings. Love you, buddy.
Playing within the sites, crossfire setups within the sites.
That जिस चीज को भी gifted मिले, Binks, thanks बोल देना, ठीक है.
Even in the KO knife.
Okay.
Oh, blocked it.
Still got a kill though, at least with the Hunter's Fury.
Yes.
So off the timeout was actually just to play around the operator and the Hunter's Fury while they have, whatever buy they can muster. Cortesia with the Guardian, but at least they find value for MIBR.
0 point, locking in pretty well there for the side of MIBR to let them know they are at the right site. They're watching the right, but here actually comes the paranoia. Oxy gets taken down by the fragment grenade.
That was from back A, so they read that as well in terms of the hit that Cloud9's trying to do. A pop flash play into A heaven rather again gets thwarted, and that's a nice cam. So all these adjustments off the timeout, that was probably a lot of information being said here by Front in the very beginning, but well downloaded by MIBR in the server.
And MIBR have chosen to kind of give up this mid area again, but use util to re-clear it. They're happy to guard the sites with the members they have and let mid be taken as long as they can still get an idea of what's there.
30 seconds left.
Won't come into play anymore. Net was pushed up quite far, but now back on the flank is C9 looks to get into this B site.
God,
shot by Shannon. Almost another one as he identifies Nat, just looking over. And it's going to be Cortesia from the top of the tower, taking down Nat. And a nice round by MIBR as they kind of get a timeout back into resetting the team.
That's how you get value off the operator from Aspas. How do you get the best out of it? Just push him forward to support through the Hunter's Fury.
Yeah.
Despite him, getting blocked by a it's still allowed here and funneled the players over into all the rest of the util that MIBR has set up. So it looks like they have found. I mean, it took a bit of rounds here for Fraud. It took, what, 7 rounds in a row coming out from C9 for him to realize how they could actually counter these this Cloud9 play.
Man, they are just, they love to butt heads here today.
What the fuck?
And they will. Coming out with first blood is Aspas too.
भाई किसने वो देखा draft करके जो मारा उसने पहले?
So quick. I think Mitch went down first to last time as well. So they can't really use the knife identification here. They have to make sure Zeppa's in place for when they hit it. But it is a bit of rinse from rinse and repeat here as Net goes for the push again.
That's it. And instead of a camera this time around, it's a trip. So now they still have passive information.
Exactly.
They want to give up this middle. So when I thought in a timeout they wanted to fight middle more, it's more reactionary. So the trip breaks, they pull out the L drone, they see a little bit of information here and there, but there's still a minute left on the clock. Still a lot of map in Valorant to be played this round.
I feel like C9 is playing, if you do good over there, we'll go that way. They're so spread out right now. Obviously they have a plan, but a lot of 1v1s can be created in this situation. They're trying to catch MIBR off guard, but credit to MIBR. They're playing really smart.
Short.
And that's the thing, the Hat's going to get a lot of info too. A 1v1 towards the B main, and Vic gets 2 nice kills though.
Really quick snap there to make sure he gets 2. The rest of the team says we are all over this site. Every entry is Cloud9's as they take B. But it is a 3v3. Vic is hurt.
I was just about to mention too, with, yes, they're trying to avoid the operator, but with the position that they had for Cloud9, it was so difficult for MIBR to rotate across.
They're clearing everything.
Omen blind भी save करना पड़ेगा ना, क्या करेंगे ये लोग?
Head to hero play gives a chance now for Cloud9 to play the pulse plant.
Give me orbs, says Aspas.
4 stars in the front of B.
Yeah.
Just everything's unloaded in the front.
Oh, and the paranoia can't find anything. Knives over their shoulders. Oxy's just trying to sell him something here. A triple kill for Oxy as they pick up another round and are within 1 of tying the game now.
It was important. I mean, this is a, second time that they have an attempt to fight back in the front of B, placing the Aster Stars in the front, where they're just, unloading a lot of things, but none of the players from Cloud9 are actually playing there. Out in the window, further back towards the spawn. This should have been something, too, that they could have identified before from Net. He loves to play so far back in these moments where he's going to be the last man standing or potentially the silver lining.
Oh my God! अगर ये round हारे तो लोगों को पैसे नहीं है, match point पे पहले सीन जाएगा.
Cloud9 now,
का ult भी आ जाएगा तब
they
तक.
close the gap, narrow the gap down by 1 round
ये
against
लोग का ult
MIBR.
कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ
When their round now has to play the early info game. Already, the Owl drone was burnt out while they have Aspas inserted. They saw nothing, so it's a good read here at least that they know the hit from Cloud9 is towards B.
Full retake positioning for MIBR. Let's see how adjusted C9 can get to site. Aspas waiting to come around with the operator until they get that spike confirmation. He doesn't believe that a first hit is a real hit from Cloud9, and why would you after these maps? A beautiful flash from Artscene as they get a quick trade back. Null Command still there around in sight though for now. Spike has not been planted yet, and it's not even towards sight.
He's down and can get in.
Oh my God, those bullets.
Still gets the kill.
Still trying to battle back and forth here. A spike is dropped. It's just going to be for the frags, it seems, this round. Aspas is going to be coming around, and he might just get an idea of where Net is before Net knows.
If anything, though, if he moves towards that window, he'll never see the spike, so this could be an opportunity. Oh, he makes noise.
Yeah,
free kill. It's a free kill.
Easy. Yeah. There's too much movement for MIBR. Beautiful job. Get around the map knowing they have this time, but Noswar going down makes things a bit trickier here. A quick push to the back, 13 seconds on the round. All they have to do is live on the side of MIBR.
The suck now, it's a concuss instead, but he's able to stick it.
Shenum coming around, it should be enough, and he cannot stay alive. Shenum with another one of the round-ending frags to get MIBR in game point.
What a nice attempt, though, by Vic to TP to grab that spike. But overall for MIBR, I was questioning a little bit what Artazine was doing with the null command and not playing the flood retake with that null command. But it turned out to be actually quite good because in those moments where they were playing on the defensive side or on the post side, when C9 was trying to flood back, what was important? The KO flash that throws up at this very spot right here where Oxy gets the pick onto Cortesia. So getting that null command up doesn't allow here for C9 to counter back so you could actually come in and take the advantage and get the trade and allow Aspas to get the lurk from behind. So I like it towards the end. Because Aspas looked like he was way too far to be able to play that retake no matter what.
Exactly. Wild. And then you're like, oh wait, he's here. Okay.
Yep.
Just at the right time. And
Those
it seems like that's when MIBR has really been able to fix. Honestly, they've been taking so many punches this round, so it comes up in round 20 when they can find one. This was almost C9 making a full sweep on the second half of the map. And yeah, those last few timeouts coming in from MIBR have very much paid off. 3 seconds till we out of this one from Emmy, and he's going to try to get the team sorted. We've seen a lot of A hits, and then B hits. C9 have just recently started working mid. We'll see if they keep pressuring that.
Yeah, at least to start, you see behind the barrier, potentially just trying to maximize Oxy in the mid spot. And for MIBR, nothing's really changed. You potentially see the setup for the pop flash so that Aspas could once again take that line.
If they win the
What's
round,
really gonna
still
stop
they
him in his
can go
tracks
OT.
is potentially just a
दो
knife
बंदे लोग के
out
पास
from
बाय नहीं
Mitch.
रहेगा. I think
Allow for
3
them to
बंदे
get
लोग के
early
पास बाय नहीं
information.
रहेगा.
Unless he wants to avoid it in the very
Plus,
beginning, and he'll do so.
So this
Now starts walking
round
up.
is very important.
Seeing one, still wants the shot. Nice pop flash from the back of sight there from Arzine, but it only catches Net to jump out of the way.
It's a battle of attrition. Both KOs through a knife. Aspas still maintains that line. Yes, he doesn't have dash anymore, but actually looks like they're deciding to give it up because he hear the owl drone towards middle.
Oxy's still going to move up with that, knowing it was shot from the right side, but the smoke coverage is fantastic here. This trip is no longer on. They've pinged in. That's going to be the drone, though. Just in time is MIBR to stop a tragedy.
Oxy's going to keep holding that line, but lose Mitch in the process.
What a look, what a shot. And Aspas shuts down Oxy.
GG map 3.
5v3 now as Cloud9 is wondering where
Sare
they can
knockout
end here
matches
without
crazy
their
nahi ho rahe
sidekick.
chat.
Thankfully, it's still 2 controllers up for Cloud9. They could smoke up everything and try to work as a group. Paranoia is still available as well.
Full bhi hai, blind bhi hai, lauda nahi hone wala hai.
Straight out of the smoke without too much util. It's what they have to do at this point. Jump forward with the shorty as Vic is just taken down to 46. The rest for Aspas is up. And that is the map for MIBR. We're going to be seeing Pro come up between these two teams. The elimination match is going all 3.
What a good second map coming out from MIBR. It looked like at some point Cloud9 was going to be able to claw back in this game.
Serious.
But it was almost the same scenario when they played against Red Thieves. At those moments when you are already leading 10-2 at the half, if you're still making small mistakes here and there, you still have so much cushion to work with. So MIBR did a great job leveraging the late timeouts from both Fraud and leveraging even Imi's timeouts to be able to capitalize and squeak through and force this to a third map.
Wild stuff. We're seeing Cortezia come online, Shenum come online now. Those B-side guards from Shenum, absolutely huge. A lot of round-ending kills from him. Stuff we did not expect to see coming from the MIBR rookies, especially after their game 1, but they have absolutely come online. They've shaken off the nerves, and they are ready to make this elimination match not be their last. It looks like we will be taking a quick break, but stick with us because we are diving into Pearl next to see who will be going home and who will be going on.
ये क्या रैंक है बंक्स भाई? ग्रीन इसका मेरा, मैं तो खेला ही नहीं इतना. ये क्या खेल पाऊंगा मैं ज्यादा? Who do you think will win? MIBR baby. कितने घंटे स्ट्रीम हो गए गाइस? 3 घंटा मेंबर्स ओनली. 7 घंटा या 7.5 घंटा इसके पहले वाला स्ट्रीम. अभी का स्ट्रीम होएगा 1 और घंटा ऐड करो, 3 घंटा. फिर मेरे को एक करना है शूट, फिर मेरे को एक करना है मेंबर्स ओनली, फिर एक EME है, एक एनए, एक पैसिफिक. मजा नहीं लाइफ भाई छूत. चेड्डी गीली हो गई है मेरी. आई थिंक स्ट्रीम एंड तो तक पिंकी उड़ भी जाएगी लग रहा है मेरे को. 9 बज जाएगा ना. मेंबर्स ओनली में वैलो कर रहे हो आप? यस सर. एटलीस्ट 2 घंटा वैलो खेल रहे हैं हम लोग. उसके बाद थोड़ा बहुत डेल्टा हो जाता है, लेकिन एटलीस्ट 2 घंटा वैलो. आज नहीं चाय पिएगा? अभी तो पिया मैं, अभी जस्ट पिया. अभी बस अभी चाय पिएगा तो मैं सो नहीं पाऊंगा. रुको मैं आया. मोबाइल और पानी लेके आया. चैट वी राइट बैक. आज पैसिफिक नहीं है, 25 को कल. आपका क्या रैंक है? अस्कांडी 3.
agora o Aspas já garantindo 2 abates logo de começo, hein? Só que o Xenon já foi eliminado. O Aspas de novo.
He did a couple, but net's gonna be there. That's 4 for net.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got a series on our hands. MIBR are keeping themselves alive in this series, enjoying some well-earned bananas.
I love the
Got
banana.
that potassium up. Honestly, it's the gamer move.
It was always my pregame like little snack to eat. You
It's
know,
a perfect snack.
Eases the nerves a little
Yeah,
bit. Get that
secret of the gamers.
potassium in your system.
That's right, that's right.
I feel like Astralis said that like years and years ago. They were the ones that started that in CS like years and years ago, but now you see it everywhere.
Well, MIBR got a long way to go to be compared to Astralis, but this map
Aspasapsappassss is there.
Yeah, this map was a good start.
Yeah.
He had 7 operator kills on that Abyss map, and it was just floating around on the defensive side. And I thought Cloud9, they tried their best to deal with it, but he just got value anyway.
I mean, they tried their best on their attack, but yeah, let's roll it back here in this series in general. I mean, quite frankly, when we heard what the coach had to say, Fraud, when they were down, it's just like, you know, we need to be cleaner, we need to get those side executions cleaned up, and that's exactly what they did. He delivered on everything he asked for.
Yeah, they kept it really simple on Abyss, which is a very simplistic map, right? These 3 lanes spread out super far away from each other, and it allowed them to get the separation for these execs that you were talking about, Baby Bay, and Aspasapsappassss was just flourishing. On the spear, the front part of these hits, he was playing so well, but you have to give flowers to the rookies on this team.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna talk about Aspasapsappassss. I mean, particularly Cortezia and Shenum.
Yeah. Cortezia had such good lurk timings on this map, and he was finding openers even when they were down numbers in the rare occasion that Aspasapsappassss did go down on the entry. So kind of giving them a way out. And yeah, look at the stats right now. I mean, Shenum, he was like a silent killer in this map on the Astra, but his shots were so crispy, and I think now we're finally starting to see some life in this MIBR team that we really haven't seen at all.
Yeah, he won a one-on-one against Vic early on in that B site. That was pivotal in the first half, in my opinion. He had super low HP, had to play the situation perfectly around Vic and spammed him right through the smoke. It was a sick play.
Yeah. What I love the most about it is just, you know, people were starting to question, obviously, after the first few performances from MIBR, like, was it the right move to pick up those inexperienced players? But with that performance right there, I think they really showed everyone what Fraud and Aspasapsappassss have seen in them.
I mean, we saw what they can do when they play, you know, this open default map with a default comp against the default comp.
Yeah.
But the question is whether they can show up against, you know, the Teo, against these newer meta comps when they're behind the 8 ball and they aren't equipped with those layers. They have the shooters to go head-to-head with anyone in the league. It's just whether they have the game plan to do it as well.
Well, and one of the pieces that is forming that game plan is, of course, Nazwar. And earlier we spoke with Nazwar to get his read on the competition and what he thinks he needs to work on heading into this match.
Para nosso jogo contra a Cloud9, a gente sabe que o jogo deles é pouco em torno do Ox também. Então, eu já joguei várias vezes contra a Cloud9, então eu sei bem como eles pensam pouco, como eles jogam. E também o jogo contra a Handetives deu para a gente saber qual é a nossa fraqueza, né, no campeonato, por enquanto que foi a defesa. A gente não conseguiu encaixar nosso ritmo do jogo contra a Handetives. Então a gente vai focar nisso e contra a Cloud9 a gente está bem confiante.
He said it so deadpan too. I'm confident.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is we kind of did see them struggle on the defensive side as well. They kind of had to rely on the op crutch of Aspasapsappassss, but that's a good thing to rely on. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
When Aspasapsappassss is opping, it's a great thing for you.
But even then, they required that 10-2 lead. Yeah, I mean, with that 10-2 lead evaporated real quick
It was
when they switched.
actually crazy because Soe, you were the one that was like, oh yeah, let's sit down in the back over here because it's gonna be a long one, but it will be a fake comeback. I don't know how you have the script.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah,
I'm writing the script.
What is up with that?
That was kind of crazy.
Right now. Well, I'm not going to give away what's happening on the next map, but maybe get your thoughts. How do you think Pearl is going to plan out?
Oof. I think it could be good for MIBR because it is kind of another one of those maps where if it is default comp versus default comp, you give these long sight lines to Aspasapsappassss again and the lurk timings to Cortezia. It could be another case of what
this has been an Aspasapsappassss map, right? Historically. Like, I have seen this guy do filthy things on Pearl, just year after year now at this point. But Oxy's also heating up here.
Yeah, he also had 5 operator kills.
Exactly.
With his phone, by the way.
That ace was maybe the play of the year so far.
Yeah,
that was
13-7, 13-10. ये भी close जाएगा ना?
It's always him too.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing is like he has all these
इसमें क्या
tweets,
comp रहेगा,
"Oh,
guys?
I'm not performing how
I
I want to
think
perform." And then
same
he
ना?
gets ace
Goa
against, like,
KO.
Aspas.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean, bro?
या फिर KO fade.
I saw MIBR play this in the
I think
off.
KO fade much
I
better.
know they can play the map. They weren't running anything too crazy
Yeah,
at
it was
the
like a
time.
default comp.
Yeah.
I remember.
I know also
Phoenix
Cloud9
देखने
is
में रहेगा
like
क्या?
the middle of their pool as well.
ये
So
best
this is
map
actually
है to
a
play
really
Phoenix.
good third map. It's, you know, standard default style map. I think we're going to see pretty vanilla comps. I'd be shocked to see something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Cloud9, they were running the Neon, you know, on Oxy on this map, but I don't think with the way that Neon is right now in this current meta that we're going to see that. It would be cool, however, because I think that it would throw MIBR off with not having to deal with the default comp.
But is that a risk you want to take?
It's
This is
very
elimination
ये हफ्ता बहुत chaotic है, stress भरा है.
map in the series.
Lower
like,
brackets crazy
literally
है.
everything is on the line.
I think the
For both
question
of
is
these
whether we
teams.
see like a Vice or something like that. I
Well,
think
you know
we
what?
have the Jets.
We're
but
going to find out very soon. For now, we're heading into a quick break, and afterwards, we're back with the third map in the series.
30 second का break. Love you, Harsh. एक गेम खत्म होने के बाद कितने सेकंड का मेन गैप रहता है? आई थिंक 5 to 7 minutes. ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं. Veg breakfast suggestion, dosa baby. Plain dosa फिर मसाला dosa.
Welcome back to the third map of our second series of the day. That means this map will eliminate one of our teams going forward. It's Cloud9 versus MIBR, and we are diving into Pearl this map.
Into the inevitable, where unfortunately somebody else is going to be eliminated after this game, but I wouldn't want it any other way, that we actually are able to have a third and final map where we haven't seen from either of these two teams yet, at least on the VCT stage. So for one end, Sean Garris was mentioning, hey, maybe they went back to the roots of what were they comfortable with. Are we going to see vanilla comps here for MIBR? Potentially here, because that's where they found so much success on Abyss. But this is also a map where we haven't seen C9 play yet. They were also able to implement some Deo in the first place going into kickoff, and they were able to some default comps such as energy on Fracture, for example. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what we're going to expect now, what to expect going into this map. But if there's potentially a comp diff going into this one, I'm going to have to potentially give it to C9 coming in with something new.
Well, I mean, C9, the overarching kind of lower bracket runs for that org across every game. For some reason, better plot armor. And this team that they have chosen as well looks like it gives them some plot armor, some crazy stuff there. MIBR is going to look to thwart that lower bracket run with some of their own default comp, that comfortability. This is exactly what I think made them so strong last map.
But the thing is when they played this during the offseason for MIBR, there was no Tejo. So now on paper, this Killjoy's gone. And then you look back on the side of C9. They have Fade. You could
भाई यही चीज वालों को जिंदा रख रहा है भाई. मतलब तुम लोग सोचो, एक साल से दूसरा साल में नया एजेंट आता है, नए मैप रोटेशंस आते हैं, प्लेयर स्विच आता है, नया मैकेनिक्स आते हैं एक साल में. अरे हर साल होते जा रहा है, हर साल कुछ ना कुछ चेंजेस तुम लोगों को देखने ही मिलेगा.
Probably mess with where you are in sight or trying to get into sight. It would be as C9 are starting on defense here. Already a rotation, a push out C long as MIBR are wasting no time to dash into the site. Default hit here as they're just going to go ahead, power in numbers. But there is some hide in secret right now. Great kills from Oxy and Nat. Unexpected. MIBR thought they had a clear sight, and that moment they take to breathe is the moment that C9 takes to bite back.
Now you have no choice but to potentially stay inside the site or go for
Michelle,
hero
thank you for
plays
the membership.
Artazine and Shen on the last two remaining. I mean, yes, you've made it through this trip, but it might be too late unless you're able to get behind them.
Yeah, squeeze. Oh, shoot in the back. Oh, he's
Molly's
good.
The blue
That's going to
combo.
drop the health of a few and Net alone. They still get a shot. Well, MIBR is playing this so masterfully right now, but they have to get in the smoke. They have to see if it's getting diffused. Can it be Oxy? No, it can't. It can be Shenum once again. The final kill of the round will go to Vic. These two players always alive at the end of the rounds and showing us some awesome stuff.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it looked like they had an open site, yes, but it did throw a null command for MIBR to spawn a player playing inside dugout. I almost think it actually did catch towards that back. But for them to decide to do this, the pop flash to fight back towards that spawn was an interesting one because from the get-go, there was no delays coming through from Cloud9, so you have to expect they're playing for a flood retake. They probably didn't expect here that it was going to be a double flank, so props to Cloud9 to play so far back.
Let's go, baby! Yes!
Pistol round hype for Oxy.
Usually his volume's like 0 to 100. That was tame. That was tame.
They're tame. They're tempering the play. They're tempering the go. He's got a long game to go. He's got more to do, apparently. We'll see if they hit this hard towards the lurk here, though, from Shen. Could be a big factor. Whoa, that was a shoulder. Yeah, I think Vic just caught that. Quick kill goes to Aspas, so they're going to have a hard time getting into sight, but they're still encroaching, trying to find the back of somebody.
W stun.
I mean, okay, everybody's isolated for 1v1s, but Cortezia does a good job against Mitch. Rifle's a little bit too far away from him to pick up, but at least to get the plant for MIBR.
Vic with a quick check, giving the team the rest of the time to come from secret, come from that garden area. Try to file into the site. High-low as they play it and just quickly overwhelm the site as you would expect with these weapons. Oxy on that outlaw from B comes into play, and he'll start actually getting some orbs up. That's going to be
agent bhai ka concept अच्छा नहीं लगा. Q concept अच्छा नहीं लगा.
Very early as well.
भाई कितना competitive होएगा. एक team सिर्फ jet खेल रहा है, तुम लोग ने jet ban कर दिया.
Being put here, a judge, couple of bulldogs, an outlaw, and those bulldogs could actually be quite good for Cloud9 in the retake scenarios, especially when Oxy. Well, actually, looks like he's dropping away from the outlaw, so he could play the judge in those moments.
Oh yeah, he wants to get out and do something funky here. I think Yoru, I mean, Zeppa and other maps would stay with Oxy. We kind of talked about that, their fracture game and whatnot. But a Yoru, you still have to be left up your own devices, so it looks like they're still going to allow him to do that. Goes back to the bulldog though, a little measured, a little measured.
It makes sense. He left a TP back towards that spawn. You need to leverage your duelist here to have this get out of jail free card if you're able to get a hit or miss and get out of there to safety. And I wouldn't be surprised later on if you go for the jungle so that they could play the mental drift retake.
Actually pushed all the way to A. You saw him take that gate crash back. So now they're at B, ready for the hit. But Aspas creeping around the back. They know they have gotten all the way into sight now. So C9's rotating over, but great positioning by MIBR here on the bonus round.
Here comes all these trades. So Oxy's back with the judge. He's going to be able to find information moving back for the rest of the team, but they're all isolated back towards the spawn.
All right. Blind and find. Here we go. Oxy trying to get in, does have that judge once again after they kind of flipped the site, so they're trading weapons back and forth. Vic to take down Artesine here. Oxy in a smoke. He's trying to break crosshairs, cannot find anyone just yet, as somehow MIBR still hiding in these moments as Nat does search out Cortezia.
clean bonus जीत गए.
Back and a bit of a break in the fight here as Cloud9 just figure out where their targets are.
Vic
should be able to get this. Wait a minute, a few more shots here. Vic does get the defuse. Shenum's not able to get that shot on him. Quick back and forth there, but even with a sliver of health, Cloud9 are able to grab that round.
Yeah, going into that one, looks like it was a regen shield too for Vic on that defuse. A lot of chaos has been put into Cloud9, but yes, you were talking about the dimensional drift out from Oxy, and it looked like they weren't really trying to get frags around there. There was such good stall coming out from MIBR on the post plan, but towards the end, finally, when all of that util is gone and everything settles down, at least for the initial customer stalls they could do with their util, you have the power of numbers of Cloud9 that really had winning duels on top of that. You didn't have to trade too much. It didn't give a chance here for Shenum to get that clutch towards the end. There's a lot of bodies to shoot, and it was like 3 of them, plus 1 in the smoke.
Yeah, I mean, that should have been MIBR's round 2. You can even see Emmy knew it at the end there on the coach cam. A little bit of space take towards A. No action just yet.
And here rifle for Aspas around the Stingers. And Aspas is once again going to be the one trying to entry towards that site. Thankfully, they have a Cosmic Divide to just split the front of that site to work together. Okay.
Oh, the spam through. They weren't expecting that from Secret. A trade back, though, as Aspas does find a kill. They can play this slow. Armageddon's there for Mitch. The Tejo ultimate is ready.
That's just unlucky. Maybe a small mistake on the Cosmic Divider. Free kill through the wall. Oh, got caught.
Blocked off Aspas after his kill. They're kind of identifying a few of the members here. Stars are still on the spike. C9 need to work quick here and start to create a lot of options that MIBR can not get a hold of. But no, they're ready for everything and anything. Cortezia with the last one, and it's going to be a round for MIBR.
Aspas just continuing to break crosshair placement as he's just dashing around and just keeping the store duelist of Cloud9 focused on him, so the rest of the team could just play a cleaner post plan just to spray out towards the A main. But I gotta say, that small mistake from that wall could have been very, very costly for MIBR. It would have been one of those scenarios where C9 could potentially walk away with another 5-0, another 6-0. This is not the start that you want here in the elimination match for MIBR when you lose once again pistol and bonus against Cloud9. But thankfully, they stopped the bleeding quite early.
Big push. They want to fight this fully. This blind is there, and Aspas can't see a damn thing. Vix is able to get that frag in their favor for first blood.
That's the Prowler just falling behind that to actually get that bite onto Aspas. The drone behind it as well. Just again, talking about this double initiator util is so good for Cloud9, but I talked about it on the attack side, not on how good it's been on a defensive side to help out here. Cloud9 take advantage of the orb and also deny it from Nosware.
Slowly trying to get themselves behind enemy lines. This is big from Cortezia. We've seen this multiple times across our maps. Huge. And now he's causing problems for C9. This gives the rest of MIBR time to move around the map safely.
Okay, so they're putting a lot of responsibility onto Zeppa just to watch that 1v1 so that Oxy can move back and support towards the Gout in front of A. But everything's done well enough here by Cortezia to allow MIBR to move in for a plant. And once again, play. Potentially here, another clean post plant.
Almost a quick frag. They're going to actually use that Cypher.
Now they can
2v2.
See if they can get in the stars. They're going to be so troublesome here. Hunter's Fury hasn't even used the Astra Stars yet. Very well played. The layers to the post plan are making this so tough for C9. But Oxy just gets a swinging headshot onto Nosware. They're going to head back to side of Shenum. Going to do everything he can here. Quick concussed, quick shot, but he doesn't get that frag. It's not even the half, though. He's got Oxy on the ropes, and Shenum gets another clutch in the series.
And interesting enough, too, that they utilized the Hunter's Fury to start things off, but it makes sense because when they played that 2v2, especially with the Neural Theft thrown by Net, you have to... They already knew you were kind of split up. So if you're already going to go for the suck first, then you already have two players potentially on the defensive side just trying to push down towards the main. So you kick things off here with the Hunter's Fury. You're trying to keep them at bay, and then you use that grab well so you can play a little bit more slowly towards that arc push that you're trying to do here for Shenum. So turns out quite well. Play for MIBR. And already in an early timeout for Cloud9, Imi wants to make sure here that they don't run through the same type of shenanigans as they did on Lotus, where they're going to run away with it, then it's tied up, and then when it comes down to those pressured moments, you know that Cloud9, they're always like, what?
मैच तो होता रहेगा बराबरी का। भावना जी आप कैसे हो यार? हाँ? स्कूल के बाद से कभी मिले ही नहीं आप। थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड की बात है, थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड। चैट को पता नहीं, थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड में सेम क्लास में थे हम लोग। उसके बाद मुझे यूएस जाना पड़ा। कैसे हो भावना जी? गुड द मॉर्निंग टू यू सर।
And they're in such great form, and then the non-closing game comes in. You're like, wait, why does this plague them? MIBR is trying to be fierce so they can bring that error back out of C9. If it's even there, I mean, what does this roster provide for them, right? Maybe it's not even a problem with the veteran status they have here working with C9. There's a lot of it there on the side of MIBR too. As we get back in round 6, they're going to have weapons. They're going to look to take this back in their control.
I'm actually trying to push up towards B to start for Cloud9 in this aggression. I mean, it is an eco run that you have here. Recon, Alan Jones started early off on the attack side for Nosware, already pushed away. So they know the tail's playing close, but know how many players behind Zeppa, or sorry, behind Mitch is actually there for Cloud9. Because the pit will show up on the scoreboard. They know that Oxy picked it up and that he TP'd away. But for the rest for MIBR, they are playing the anti-eco. It's going to be a lot easier for them to just win these duels, especially when they're playing this buddy system that you can see.
You always have to against C9, right? I mean, you always have somewhat of an anti-eco, but against C9, for some reason, no matter the squad, their ecos are always so strong.
C9, EG, we saw that from MIBR as well.
Crazy how these teams can organize such good low buy strats here to make it work. Already a frag, though. They take down net, so they don't have to worry too much about a lurk. And they should be able to get this retake onto C9 as they hit B.
Especially when they heard the TP earlier on there by Oxy, and they probably waited that extra 20 seconds so that if there was another one, it was already gone.
No guns.
So now they have power of numbers for MIBR, a 4 versus 2. But you talked about the Sheriffs, it's good for 1.
Artazine still trades back, though. They don't have to worry about Mitch too much no more with the salvos coming in. So set up by 4, Cortesia probably get his util to stick now. It's gone. Feels a little bit better. But it's just a slow rotation in here from C9 and most likely a clean up.
3-3 अभी आएगा Oxy का 8 और लोग कुछ कर
They're not
सकते
pushing themselves too thin. These shots come in. It should just be a cleanup. And I think they're dealing well with Cloud9, always trying to make MIBR sweat at the beginning of the round, right? We had that little push towards C. C-Long didn't do much, but they're always giving MIBR something to think about before they can run their strat.
Thing is, right now, they kind of just
almost
Artazine gets the pick instead of trying to die the spike and not give these pips away. Because Artazine, after that kill, he has null command. I wonder, with the fact that we talked about Cortesia playing into this killjoy is basically a write-off because you're playing against Mitch with these salvos. It should nullify the lockdown, right? But maybe that's the reason why MIBR adds that extra layer of Artazine with a null command, with a 0 point, to maybe try to find where Mitch could be playing so they could get the best value out of this lockdown. It starts here as a 5-player death ball towards the A site for MIBR.
And looking great for MIBR. Since the gun rounds, they've had control, but now they have a lot of salvo in their face they have to deal with. It is Nazwar that makes it past. Oxy has another dimensional drift already, so if C9 feels like they've lost control, they can regain it back with a bit of that vision.
It's a great start because the salvo's already gone, so you can already pull out the lockdown. Nothing's going to stop it at this point. And MIBR could choose to play the fake or play the pinch.
You should run.
That's a huge point. And it's not going to be ready for at least another 10, 15 seconds. They're going to get through this lockdown very nicely.
Numbers say otherwise.
Prowler is going to alert them. A very, very close Zeppa, and that's going to go down. Aspas and Shenum, beautiful teamwork as they pick their teammate back up. Artazine back in the mix.
Just so simple. Going with the null command, bait yourself out, being selfless. You could instantly trade res up while you still have the null command. And also you created that space already from the lockdown, so front side should be good, and it is.
Quick plant. Just letting the util waste away before C9 gets their positioning back here. This is a tough task right here. Aspas even playing the height of the box over towards Art. He gets hit pretty good. They're going to require the rest of the team to come in here.
I mean, look at Vic's HP after that.
It is low.
5 HP remaining. They hear the rotates back. Artazine's just going to try to hunt them down.
It
looks really good here for MIBR again. Just working in the driver's seat. When we looked at the vanilla comp, this should be C9 basically able to dissect this map in their favor. But MIBR are doing a great job sticking to the basics of what are the advantages of this composition, what they could do. Again, we talked about these pop flashes for Aspas. Aspas just dashing in and clearing space. And then you're able to play the pulse plant around Shenum and around Nazwar. But that around the ults to split was actually quite nice.
And ultimately, MIBR, they look to play this comp where they can get those ults in, get themselves into the site, and kind of play it slow. So C9 does waste that utility. They can get through those windows. Seems really neat that they continue to go back and forth and are now doing what C9 basically did on Lotus, is waste C9's util and play within the windows when they can hit site. Very nice little change of how they're going about it.
I think
now in a lower buy, they have the Vandal playing solo towards this B site. And things stay the same for Cloud9 though. You saw from this minimap, just trying to push up towards this A main, isolate that, pick up an orb, just trying to play the long game. This should technically be a write-off for Cloud9, and you play the long run for the next
Ooh, I thought Net was stuck and dead to rights, but he actually keeps himself alive and gets a kill. The rest of the team starts to fall, though, as that is only good for one. As they push in here, it looks like MIBR should be able to get this with the Bucky and Stinger on the other side. I think another thing that's really a blessing for MIBR picking this is that they can use the KJ on the attack side first. You talk about around the Tejo window, but imagine if they were on defense, right? I think they would be looking for the KJ util, salvoing it and whatnot. So it's really nice that they kind of get to work around that window.
Do you think MIBR is not the best
It's
team
also one
for
of the simple
Aspas?
things, though, if you want to look on the other end for Cloud9,
As long
is that
as
if that
he's
lockdown
happy,
is ready, maybe it's not those moments to use a salvo right away to try to be aggressive, right? So
उसको एक
you
Brazilian
need
team
to
चाहिए
be
थी.
aware of what's going on for your
उसके
opponents, too,
friends
not
वहाँ
just
पे
trying to
हैं.
draw up or think about
और क्या चाहिए?
what you should do in round 7 because we have this. You have to think about what your opponents have as
Like
well.
me and T-Bone playing
Which
in
is
same
unfortunately
team.
was missed, which allowed here MIBR to string these rounds. They have 5 in a row now on their side.
Crazy stuff.
T-Bone
Yeah,
ने
as soon
बोला
as
था
they got
शायद,
guns.
but you get
so
my point.
what does that tell? Like, are they really that much stronger with weapons here? C9 only getting to that bonus round. But MIBR have an answer.
Yeah.
It looks like C will be one of those.
Not only that, this is also very similar to what Abyss could be. You have these long corridors around long B, around long A, but they weren't really allowed to put an operator in the hands of Oxy as Yoru yet.
Oh, Baby Bay talking about it. Aspas does some crazy things when he's on Pearl, but Vic and Zeppa able to trade that B-Link area very well.
अभी Oxy ult
This is
करके
going to be
info
a
लगा
tough
सकता.
hole for MIBR. 3 in sight and a big amount of ults coming in at him from the side of C9.
Push towards spawn though. Artesian just got spotted by the dimensional drift.
Yeah, he's getting bumped around now. Oxy's basically trying to give him a hug at the moment. Mitch and Nat are going to follow up with 2 more on that, and Naswar looking down the crosshair. Not going to get much on that one as Vic trade or gets the kill. And C9 are able to stop the pressure here, stop that bleeding of MIBR's consecutive rounds.
And with a flawless, you're definitely going to take that for Cloud9. Being strong on the retake, but not only on the retake, also, it's been how many rounds have they played against each other so far in this series? They're going to be like, at some point, Cortezia is probably going to be lurking somewhere. And look at that. 2 players just holding up towards that door. Hello, easy kills. Although not only did they take Cortezia, they had 2 players walk through those double doors for MIBR, which does not allow for you to have any type of value in the post plan playing off-site.
Spikes drop for this hit. Makes me think they want to run
in
and out.
and
You got a lot of ults. Hopefully they can run in and out and see a few of those be used erroneously here for C9. Well, that is a big ask. Just a quick default here for MIBR.
For C9, it's 5 players looking to crunch into middle. The turret will sound the alarm for MIBR to play a little bit more passively, and Cortezia has to be a little bit smart in these moments. Doesn't want to overextend, to at least try, in his point of view, fight a 1v1. Because he was going to be in a world full of hurt if he was going to overswing outside towards middle. So that slows things down. Yeah, spike down, dropped. You're going to play the recon game now. Nasra already grouping up in a buddy system, but not with Aspas, really.
Yeah, I think they might go back, give Nasra the plan if possible. Hunter's Fury. They are all over the map right now, though. Love this play. It's making C9 move, and there's one on Oxy. A huge first frag. And just inserting people has MIBR taken advantage in the round.
But they have so much map control without really understanding what they want to do with the spike yet. Finally, Aspas is going to move back. But a lot of time is going to be wasted. Net felt like he had to make a play. So he looks for information towards streets, and that will definitely give the advantage for MIBR to plant in these moments. And that's unfortunate, Riv, because this has happened before here for Cloud9, where, yes, they're at a player disadvantage, but they have too much overextension coming out from Net. And then he gets punished, and this should technically be an easy round for MIBR. Already in his post plan. Everybody's saying towards dugout for C9, so they want to play for the next around these ults.
And MIBR has shown us that they can come back, they can figure out what's going on, adapt mid-game, and come out with new strats as well. This whole across the map default shows so much patience, as from before they were using Aspas to get into sight. Only a few times did they ever really deter from that and have Aspas go alone. So great stuff for MIBR to be able to pull out here in map 3.
And the punishment, too, on a 5 versus 5 to walk up for information. Even I was criticizing Net, but also for Oxy to move up there, thinking that the coast was clear. That they were trying for MIBR just to play that buddy system, the initiator, around the Aspas jet.
All right, bit of a miss.
This is less individual.
But they still clean it up.
2 weapons, and also the ult here from Mitch is actually quite huge. The Armageddon could be very useful. They haven't had too many opportunities to use that yet, because he's held on to that for like, what, 3 or 4 rounds so far. So to play the delay or play the retake, really good on retaking towards that back of that B side, kind of like the Hunter's Fury that some teams like to run, like Noswer, for example, with MIBR. So similar values that you have. So the pressure that you are actually trying to activate around your Yoru to control this side and play the retake with that ult on B, while you're playing the stall on that side with your controller and your Sentinel for Cloud9.
The C9 knows that this A insert keeps happening, and Oxy wants to fight it with the safe out of gate crash. They do get that good info. Now focusing Artazine here, and they have both Hunter's Fury and that Null command up. C9 wants to stay in sight for this fight behind the wall.
I think Artazine got the pick onto Mitch before the wall even came up.
Yeah, it was really quick. Just on that left side, you can see the X down. Another one from the Hunter's Fury as well, as Cloud9 is absolutely scattered in the A site, but it's not a commitment from MIBR yet.
At this point, C9 feel like they have to make the hero play, so just playing patient, playing your numbers here for MIBR is good. Walking into crosshair, the op gets the pick up the Zeppa. This should have been a save 20 seconds ago for C9.
Ooh, planning just off the crux in that default spot so they don't get spammed from the lower portion like before. And here come the rest of Cloud9, high, low, and just trying to monkey in around the site right now to get that perfect shot. Really nice post plant setup here for the side of MIBR, but they're known, they're found out now, and they have to make a move. Big shots from Cortezia, but it's not going to land. Vic comes up with another one. Shenum and Noswer now at the top of A main as Noswer strikes true twice, 3 times at that to get the round. 7-4 now for MIBR.
I was about to eat my metaphorical hat at that point when I said it should have been a save 20 seconds ago. When they kind of they left some players deserted here on an island in this post-plant scenario for MIBR. But thankfully, the last 2 players playing that stall is going to be good enough here. But that should have been much cleaner. That said, the last round into the half, still getting rid of the value that Mitch can have with this Armageddon, and also breaking a lot of that econ for Cloud9 in this last round. That's why it should have been a save. With the buy that you have here, you would have come out a little bit stronger to potentially narrow that gap. And it's almost been carbon copy protocols of what C9's been doing on the defensive side. And MIBR is taking full advantage of it.
A lot of pressure on the map with that spike down as always. Cortezia to open it up onto Vic. The smokes are now wanting for the side of C9. Just the jumps so confident behind each other. It just looks like they're having fun right now in these final rounds of the first half. Map 3.
Yeah, and Artazine is not going to hear the rotate yet. But there's still one player angry to watch that flank, and it's Shenum again with the op.
Quick shot. Shenum with the pull, but it was going to be Oxy and the rest of the team already making it past the timing in their favor. But here, timing from Artazine. Oh, the first shots are on the jump. We've all been there, but Noswer was able to answer. The column is held strong, and Noswer gets the last 2 frags for an 8-4 first half on Pearl from MIBR.
Love how that round was played by MIBR. Artazine not hearing players, but they understand what gaps were on their defensive line. So having the op to watch the flank, the suck for the delay, but then also to have Noswer play around the pillar right here to crunch on the last 2 players of C9. This is great attack side for MIBR, but let's see if C9 with this comp could pull it out.
Crazy stuff. MIBR 5 rounds away from eliminating Cloud9 in this match. We'll be right back.
तीस सेकंड का 1 मिनट का ये लोग जो हाफ टाइम डालते हैं क्या लास्ट मैच है आज का नहीं क्योंकि 10:30 बजे ये मी है मतलब रात के 10:30 बजे Binks, how do you manage sleep? That's a very good question. जी का मैच कब है? कल दोपहर को। भाई अच्छा खेला लेकिन सीना ने यार, नॉट बैड। आई थिंक एक दो राउंड निकाल सकते हो लेकिन नॉट बैड खेला, नॉट बैड।
All right, let's get the second half underway of our final map in this series. Elimination on the line, and MIBR in the lead.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough,
here again, yes, sir.
Yeah, very, very slow start on that first map, but coming out with a vengeance since their map pick, and also taking control of Pearl so far. But for C9, just before this map, on paper, still looked pretty good to run some pretty good defaults. The thing is like trying to scale fast towards the A site could be difficult because they don't have that jet dash. So you want to try to leverage the synergy around all this util available from Mitch and Zeppa and work as a group here to see if you could capitalize on your round. But C9
right, yeah, the first three were theirs and then fell through their fingers. Yep.
That's
as I said, guys,
again, and that's the type of half you want to start with on a defensive side.
Very good attacking coup.
To pull this upset against Cloud9, must I say.
Yeah, upset indeed. Going into sight, smokes are down, salvos in, and the Arsenal gives a little breathing room here to Cloud9. We wondered if this Tejo would be stronger on their attack side as they start to trade. We do see, it looks like C9 feeling better on this one, just losing Zeppa. Still a lot to throw at the site. Stop MIBR on the defense.
So far, so good for Mitch. He's getting kills with the Ghost, but he's stuck towards the back of the site. So we talk about the salvos. When he comes back up here in 13, he might not be able to use them. At least they have the star on the ground for the post plant.
Mitch with 3. You better expect the Phantom to be purchased by C9 coming in the next round. That's
there
how
is
it works.
Still a
pool.
pool.
If they win, but the smoke's going to make it tough now. Getting in a beautiful pull. Smoke still giving a bit of cover with half. They just jump in. Oh no, Vans, this just got real tricky. They left that one up to chance. You never do that. Naswar gets 3, gets the defuse in what looked like a Cloud9 round. MIBR just takes the rug right up front.
And you were hoping at least jumping in with the right click would be able to take down the spike diffuser. But he's protected. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Naswar, the IGL for MIBR, saves his teammate. Shinhams, you see it from the Astro's point of view, just look it up, be like,
सीधा टाइप पे क्यों जंप किया लेकिन दोनों स्पैम मार सकते हैं थोड़ा ना.
And to be diffusing on the front side too, towards the front of the smoke, they still get that instead of back. Like everything C9 should have just been able to capitalize there, but heady plays by MIBR. They just keep coming and the momentum is there. Over towards A quick hit by Mitch just to show presence as C9 moves quick through art.
The thing is, they went salvo and just ran it down, and a knife already spotted only one player. They could have double pushed up, but they decided to play further back, which is still good.
Quick 3 clean up there, a classic to follow as Aspasapsappassss aims on that one, resets and takes down Zeppa for the 4K. He's getting those all points online, if you will, and he is feeling good. Smile from him. Usually you just see the stoic personality, but they know they're in a groove. And I'm sure Aspas is incredibly happy to see this team coming together. We keep saying it. This guy's not gonna choose players he doesn't think are great. Like, that's the mechanic there. He sees that in other players. And man, Shenham delivering. Cortesia last match as well. Obviously, tougher on the Killjoy this time around as we expected, but the team's coming together.
And he's never played with Cortesia, Shenham, or even Artesine in that fact.
Yeah.
They're still getting good results until this time Oxy finally opens up. The player advantage for Cloud9 in their buy and already starting the bonus round of MIBR in the very beginning.
Artesine hoping people come through with a buffy there. But C9, I think since they've been so pushed back, last map and even these first few rounds, it's going to be a very touch and go. Hit each site, see what's there until they like what they see, much like we saw in Lotus.
They're okay to keep it calm for Cloud9. You definitely do potentially feel the pressure that Cloud9 currently has in the server. Net didn't really push up too far out and just wanted to watch that angle. And they all stay as a group to make sure that they get guaranteed trades. We could find some surprises. Look at that. Already an Armageddon on your attack side just to make sure you could get a plant down.
Crazy stuff. And that's a quick one too. Quick default plant. They should wait. Plant gets stopped here. They actually have to figure this out again. They still get the frags they need. Yeah, all good. That was just for a moment. It looks scary, but obviously just pistols on the other side. So not much damage done. Even Oxy's going to stay for the last frag. A 3K there. They're starting to get those alt points online, and this was kind of Cloud9 in the first half too, but can they keep it going?
Yeah. And 5 players death ball towards that B side. I think it's still okay for them to not go for the plant right away, especially when you have the recon dart and 4 util coming through potentially with shock darts from Noswer. So you just want it on C9 side to make sure that you're not going to get caught by any of that util. Give ult orbs over on the side of your opponents. Just play to your strength. You already have 4 players inside the site. You have better weapons. Just clean up. Clean up in all 3 and move on to the next round.
Aspasapsappassss is back.
It was insane.
That's true.
Insane.
Posting up this time towards main and gaining the space behind the Owl drone. But that already is a tell. Look at how instantly Zeppa falls back with the rest of his team. They don't need the fade to do the prowler behind the pillars because they already have the drone from Mitch.
Now they have the mid control, also Cam there to help from the flank. Are they going to go back?
I think so. They might try to go back to try to grab at least map space and potentially even dimensional drift for Oxy.
That is true. He's 1 away. We'll see after we approach this corner how aware they might be that there's the push-up. The drone happened, so you have to think they'd clear this.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that's why they have Zeppa moving back with them, because he's got 2 prowlers to work with. But now it's just going to be a walk into the crosshair potentially. This is not good.
Fade heavy
I feel like they have map positioning. They throw a smoke down. No, they already the quick dismiss, but they still don't look. They don't check the corner. Trade on Aspas, and they know dropping the off is going to be big, and there may not be many here, right? Aspas is there. The team's probably across the map, and Oxy's going to figure that out right away.
And that's the good news. He dropped Mitch instead, so you could still grab the orb, get information into dimensional drift, and play the post plant for Cloud9.
So huge here how this played out for C9. Can they layer the post plant, though? MIBR ready to get in. Not a lot of util there. Just coming from Artisan's KO.
Oxy's just springing TP away, just keeping them, trying to waste that clock down.
Still available
for Cloud9, the pulse plant. Already stuck to halfway, though.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be huge. Star goes down, but still pressures him off only for the second defuse, which will pressure Cloud9 even more to get out into position. One shows, Oxy takes it down, but Noswer and Shenum come up huge, and MIBR are starting to close down onto Cloud9. Vic again, can he make it happen? Always asked for.
Sexy round, Vic.
Oh, he's got it.
And he delivers on time. Even the half defuse isn't enough. Cloud9 play these rounds so tight, so close to the chest. And they come up with another one, a Red Bull clutch again.
Vic coming in huge and staying consistent in these moments. A player that maybe not too many know of, but if you've been following the challenger scene, what he could do, how consistent he could be. And a reason why he's picked up in these moments, like in isolate these one-on-ones, doesn't care about the recon, just wants to make sure, knows that there's going to be a double swing, and still jiggles enough to get that pick. Staying so cool here under that pressure. And that's a lot to ask for the first time Vic plays here on this stage at kickoff.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. What incredible kind of just confidence in these plays, knowing that it's something he's done all the time, and the stage does not seem to be any different for him.
Yep, play from home, play for here. It's all the same thing for Vic.
What a quality to have, honestly. What a pickup for C9.
Problem is,
it looks like it's a bit of a B play.
Still slow, though. Everything got slowed up by a smoke in the very beginning.
Yay problem Aspas.
Right now for Cloud9, I mean, they'll happily take it. Just easy map control once again, and just unfortunate this time here for Aspas. Tried to go for a hero play that got picked off here by Net. So they have to understand here. I mean, it's understandable because for MIBR, they haven't really tried to go for a lot of these mid controls yet.
So now they know,
checkbox. Look into the later rounds, what they could do here to potentially fight Net
right side
in these moments that C9 consistently plays these 4-1s in the attack.
Slow move. You can see Artine, he's like, is everybody gonna crash through R? He seems a bit scared. He tries to take main control. It's not gonna be enough. C9 are throwing everything in the kitchen sink in sight before they even enter right now. And there's one from Artine. Reloads, gets another shell on there. Comes the shotgun again, and it's a 4K. The collateral on the last hit there. Oh my God, pumping up the team with the Bucky. And it's gonna be just one more left. Net to live in A with the plan.
Silver lining is that he didn't pick up any of these weapons.
Bye-bye. Holy moly. Home defense over there from Artesian with a shotgun. Beautiful job on A site. And he was in such a cluster of utility. Had a chance to shoot the drone of Oxy, or the clone rather. Didn't shoot the clone. Still came out with the right play. He had so many options. He chose the right one out of all of them.
Oh man, talking about isolating fights just before from Vic this time. Ooh. And just a quick smile.
Yowzer.
But the 1v2 from Net, holding out the knife to walk out towards dugout. You have to expect the rotate to come through. You never saw the Killjoy. You know the Killjoy is playing B at this point on how you enter towards that A site.
That's a huge stop. They just hit on C9's 2 rounds in a row, and now 2 away from winning, Vance. MIBR so close.
And C9, with the amount of plants they've been getting, at least they have a pretty decent buy. Half shields for both Zeppa and Vic, but the rest of them are full shields, full rifles, and continuing that 4-1. This time, though, a little bit more activation from Net, so he potentially great util.
Oh, almost. They're trying to help him, but couldn't get everything for him. Still get Aspasapsappassss out safe. Gotten the pressure and a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, that's a small dub. You forced out here an updraft, a dash, and now one smoke towards that spawn. You don't really give an opportunity for Aspas to get a good line.
Well, they're going to peek this right away, hoping the dart would be something. It's not going to get enough there as they get right back into the smokes. Nice use of the layering and util here.
Oh, heavy net.
Fragment's actually going to start cooking some people up in the corner. Net tries to get a kill, but Artesian runs into his fragment to get the final kill there on Oxy. Or not final kill, but another one.
And that's a huge kill from Net. The ult gets information all 4.
Slow pushes back and forth. The trades are making this very tough to get a peek on as they spam through the smoke.
Yeah.
You can see this push now coming from Naswar, trying to figure out who is back here, how much he can do. 3 bullets left in the Vandal. Picks up a Phantom. He should be good now. It's going to be a re-fire onto Mitch. Trade from Vic.
I mean, all that.
I
love here from Mitch, just staying outside of that smoke just to delay enough.
By 11-7, comeback possible है. 2 जन के पास बाई नहीं 11-8.
Here to try to retake a 2 versus 3. So it was the most important fight in the back of the site between Naswar and Mitch.
IPL कौन जीतेगा? Mumbai Indians
Both IGLs
बढ़ेगी.
going toe to toe, but Mitch using the delay
Actual
to
में
guarantee the
I
round
think
for
RCB.
Cloud9 in the pulse plant. You have to tip your hat over to
इस बार I
Mitch's
think
side.
RCB.
Quick play on the other side of the map too, just to deter. But yeah, back here playing in the smoke, staying alive, causing Naswar just to focus, right? That's what you're talking about, making them focus, Mitch, instead of what they can in the site. Yeah, these little cat and mouse games. Their C9 is able to get by in the rounds. But we're seeing that's what it takes C9 to get these rounds right now. MIBR is so close to grabbing them all back almost every time. Crazy.
Now a timeout here from Fraud. Remember the last time they had a
यार
timeout
2500 लोग देख रहे हैं स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दो लास्ट मैच है जो हारा वो जाएगा घर पे और जो नहीं हारा वो भी जाएगा घर पे क्योंकि उसका ओपोनेंट जा रहा है घर पे और मैं भी सोऊंगा घर पे पता नहीं किधर है डर के बाप रे गंदे जोक
if they want to buy around this play, or is it going to be the longer game here for the Brazilian team? Because they still have a 4-point lead, which is not too bad, but you're starting to see here that Cloud9, just like Abyss, are having a little bit of comfort here on their attack side.
Hop it back in. Cloud9 comes off
इसके बाद कब है Watchparty? 10:30 बजे
quite strong, and they actually have that ult to use from Nightfall and one for Oxy if they can again orb grab. That guy is just cycling through ults this game, and MIBR is able to stop what is happening. Operator.
पहला 2 मैच देखा नहीं क्या हुआ?
Except for Cortesia.
Yeah, it looks like they wanted to go with rifles at the very beginning, Guardians and Stingers, but they are going to just stick with what they have to make sure they have a healthy buy in the next. But the idea is still there. You have both Artesian and Aspas working together. Playing further behind is going to be Naswar with the Hunter's Fury. And Prowler for C9 at least checks out that the operator's there.
Insert. This is what killed them last time. They actually get shot on the drone, so they have to think twice now. Is this spot something that gets kills on him? No way it happens again, Fancilly. Oxy's going to try to check it, but it was just a weird check wire on the outside. Zep was finally able to capitalize on that, but now C9 are running away from this Hunter's Fury that tagged up Zeppa.
Drone भी खत्म.
They had to be aware of that, especially with how Aspas shot those right away. At least he got into an instant train, and he also wasted out that Hunter's Fury. And MIBR's read now is to say, well, they got to back up on this, because Aspas technically was opting towards the A side.
info में क्या मिला return में offer है.
C9 has done, but the mind games continue here for Mitch. They're going to wait for the second wave around the Nightfall and Salvo. So very important that Zeppa stayed alive to dance around the Hunter's Fury.
Nightfall comes in. You have to expect MIBR is going to use Cosmic Divide to take the site back once this plant happens. So they'll probably let a bit of this happen really before giving themselves up. Oh, good damage. Oh, Cortezia with the molly. It's actually walked in by Zeppa. That Hunter's Fury pays off big time.
I mean, it's out in the open. You're still running into that. And now Aspas gets the pick and the spikes down.
There's going to be a gate in. Quickly goes net. They try to force the play. It's on a pressure cooker now. Cortezia and Shenum come up huge. That's game point for MIBR as Cloud9 is left wondering.
Question marks all around there on C9's re-hit towards that site. The Nightfall did get information on players playing towards Secret. They had smokes blocking up that sign, but it just felt like they had that gameplay, the plan to just try to take down Cortezia on the top of the staircase towards Art, just to guarantee a safer plant. Looks like they wanted to plant a little bit more out in the open instead of going for the safe plant inside the cabin towards the tucked area of the default spot of the A site. And it does not pay out for C9. Backs against the wall. MIBR at map in a series point.
अभी तो लोग बाद Astro केजा ult भी है.
No time left here. Use it if
गलती
you
से
got
plant
it.
हो गया ना.
Go ahead and chat with the team again as they're
Good
on
luck
game
with
point.
push plant.
Calm them down. Reset the strats and let them know
केजे
there's
का
so
counter
much
तो है
playbook
लेकिन
that
तेओ.
they can use to make this work.
This is so difficult now, Riv, because this might be just a Hail Mary for Cloud9 outside of the timeout, just to salvage the round, because they haven't used that Armageddon yet. Now on top of that, they have the Dimensional Drift here from Moxie, so it might just be one of those plays, just like they did against the anti-eco at the beginning of the half, where they just want to try to guarantee the round.
We saw it before. We were talking about how Cortezia would be kind of just put out of the map by Mitch. Both have their ults. We might get to see it on the final round if they can play within the window of Salvo or Armageddon to get the lockdown to work. It seems almost impossible, but imagine that being the way this round goes through.
Yeah, a lot of question marks and ifs.
सुबह के 9 बजे गाली दे रहे हो मुझको. शर्म आती है?
Potentially now splits into or a C9 comeback or an MIBR upset victory
in this series.
But again, just to underline this double ult that we currently have here for C9, if they use this now and are able to capitalize on the round, there's still 4 chances for MIBR to close it out with their own ults, better weaponry, and hopefully for C9 fans, it's not going to be the case, but you see here how nervous they are, staying back towards the spawn in the very beginning.
And such a low buy for C9 here. Relegated to 2 sheriffs. Weapons on the 3 Stooges. Let's see if they can make it happen. Into the site. Oxy's going to get everything with Dimensional Drift here. Armageddon goes down. They could still have Salvo coming in for that lockdown. Few shots go back. And that's going to be a bit of mid now picked up by Cloud9. Looks like they could stay alive here with just 3 more as their man up.
What a nice Armageddon to follow him out.
It's going to be a quick shorty as he knows Mitch is coming in. They're not going to be able to get any of that util. Shenum, Artazine, and Aspas still alive now to try and get this spike down.
And both players of C9 are isolated, though. It might have to be our hero play coming in for once again Vic.
Nobody's going for that spike just yet. Obviously, MIBR can see it. They'll keep putting it on the ground if it gets picked up. And they have coverage across the site. This looks tough for C9. If they win this, it's the momentum they need to keep going to bring it OT.
GG.
One more Vance. It's going to be Vic. He takes the shot. The 2v1. He's trying to create the 1v1s, but he can't find anybody. 18 seconds, and they're going to force him to plant the spike. Artazine just doing the peaks. Can he get underneath Heaven here just to make it happen? He's going to get behind the pillar. He probably has a bit of a plant spot. The Ginkgo's just off to the left side. Can he get himself into a position that pushes him post? It's going to be the kill from Artazine. That's it. MIBR reigns on Cloud9's parade as they move through the kickoff bracket.
MIBR, against all odds here, are able to fight back. And in a default composition, going into a map here like Pearl, they just stuck what worked for them and made sure that they just play their own game.
Amazing stuff from MIBR. The upset we were not expecting, but if an upset's on the docket, that means it can happen. What a restructuring of the mantle, and just what we saw from last week from this team, Vansili. Incredible change.
Yeah, night and day, but you have to look at it from MIBR's side. In an interview from Aspasapsappassss, they just came into kickoff, maybe 6 days before kickoff. New agent just came out. They had 1 day of practice, so definitely it did not look good against such a strong team that they played in that first round. But then you know that Fran has been working around the clock with Nosworth to make sure that they stay alive in this series. And
चलो guys, that is it for today. C9 हो चुकी है बाहर. I think Furia भी हो चुकी है बाहर. And ए में का तुम लोग को मैच देखना पड़ेगा. ए में मैचेस क्रेजी थे. दोनों मैच देखना पड़ेगा. कौन बाहर गया देखने को. But that is it guys. Bye-bye. Adios. चढ़े में adios. मिलते हैं दोपहर को members only Valo stream पे. ठीक है. Rank push. Afternoon को. Bye guys. Love you. Scout के साथ immortal rank push.